Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Main Character Syndrome. I'm your host, Cheesymanfredo, aka Alfredo Morales. And with me here, always, Julian, my co-host. Say hello, Julian.
Hey, what's up? That's the name, that's the voice.
That's the name, that's the game. And before we move on and introduce our new guest this episode, our first time guest, I'd like to say thank you to Protus for being on last week's episode, and also Spork, surprise guest that I didn't invite, and she just popped in here whenever she feels like it. But that's cool. We talk about Power World. We won't talk about Power World in this episode, so I'm just gonna
maybe.
Yeah, maybe Raven might have some takes. Hey, that's Raven over there.
Hi.
Say hello.
Hi, I'm Raven.
Raven, how might people know you?
You might know me from my comics. I made a comic called The Paradox of Getting Better that was published by Silver Sprocket like a couple of years ago now, I guess. And I have a Twitter that I post on sometimes.
I think most people know you from your Twitter, I think.
Maybe you know me from my previous Twitter where I had a bunch of followers before I got rid of it because I didn't like it.
Yeah. Oh, you got rid of it? I thought I thought something happened.
It got suspended for a little bit, but then they gave it back to me, but then I decided I didn't really want it.
You noticed that there was all this like weird gunk on it and a sign that said property of Elon, and you realized, oh, this space is tainted. I want a new seat.
Maybe a little bit. I just didn't like having a lot of followers. It's kind of stressful.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like.
You know, it's not really different than having like a couple thousand, honestly. It's just you getting more people get angrier.
They get angrier faster, right? Because like the people who dislike you find you way quicker, right?
Yeah, and I kind of like just having a couple thousand. I think that's all I need. That's fine.
I gotcha. Yeah,
I don't like how every time I hear about Asmongold, it's because he said something stupid. And I'm like, if only he never said stupid things, I would never have to hear about this guy.
I don't know who that is.
He's
that's what I mean.
One guy.
I know him.
Was going around where it's kind of like it doesn't matter artist's opinion. It's all about what the consumer wants. And not gonna lie, I think he's a piece of shit, but I think that's pretty true. Like, yeah, there's a lot of consumers who really don't like give a shit about the people who make the stuff they make.
Yeah.
Right. Like they don't really give a fuck about. Like, I mean, that being said, he's totally ignoring that like any artist could also be a consumer too, right? Like I'm out here doing art and whatnot, but I'm also like wasting my money on buying little plastic Marvel superheroes, and I'm putting them on my fucking shelf because I like that. That makes me.
You got little guys on your shelf?
I actually cleaned my immediate desk. I actually cleaned.
Hell yeah.
All my little trinkets are gone. I do have my my hourglass that has like a little pink liquid that I got from the zoo, and it has a little floaty flamingo in an island in there that I really like. Yeah. A buddy bought it for me when I went to the zoo. He came from out of town, and I was just transfixed by it because pink is like one of my favorite colors, and
it's a good color.
Slime, right? Exactly.
I've always been a pink fan, even back when I was like a teen and stuff. I've always been into pink as a color.
Pink Chads rise up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, reddish pink. I really like. It's like one of my favorite colors.
I like neon pink. I think I like them from Kirby.
Oh yeah.
Right. I did want to say I am a big fan of the Paradox of Getting Better, right? That's the title?
Yeah, that's the title.
Okay, good, because it's been a minute since I read it, but I do remember liking it when I first read it.
Thank you.
I thought it was really neat. I have not read any of the other following comics you made because I keep forgetting to buy them.
I don't actually have any. Well, I have one other for sale
Did you do one?
Yeah, I have one
Yeah,
on Gumroad called Tom Hickey's Nature Show.
yeah.
Um, that you could check. I actually just recently did like a revamped version of it where I edited a lot of the dialogue and the art. Uh,
Mm,
Nobody bought it, but I mainly did it for
nice.
myself.
Well, I'll buy it. I'll buy both versions.
No,
The
no, don't buy
little
both
direct.
versions. Don't buy both. Just buy the new one. I got rid of the
you,
old one. I hated it so much.
you don't want people to like read the theatrical cut and then the director's cut.
No,
Of,
because I did a re I it was really I didn't do like a great job, I thought, on it. Like I made a lot
mm,
of spelling mistakes and stuff,
oh, okay.
and it just like
Um,
I wasn't paying attention while I was making it that much.
all right. Spelling mistakes are kind of like my bread and butter ever since like
Right.
I made comics. Like
Yeah.
ever since you might not know what I'm referring to this, but back when I was doing one of my first major web comics was Bongo and Luna, and that was just sprinkled with like spelling mistakes, and it kind of just
Yeah.
became like that's how you knew I wrote it because it just had a lot of spelling mistakes. A lot of my buddies says like it's great though. It's how you know someone's like human.
Right.
It has those little like errors, human errors.
Yeah,
Like
that's my
sure you could.
excuse. Whenever I misspell
Mhm.
something, I just say, "Oh, it's an anti-theft measure. You
Yeah.
can't be too careful."
This art looks bad.
It's
No, this
character.
art looks human.
Yeah, it's character.
Right, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
I don't know why I felt sometimes I get like very OCD brained about things
Mm,
and I need to like if I don't fix something, it'll like drive me crazy. So I like have to
mm.
fix it, you know? So that's what I did with that comic. Paradox is getting better. I don't think I'd ever there's like spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes in that, but I don't think I'd ever edit it.
Paradox is very grungy, Uh,
Yeah,
it's very. I think you use like pencil, right? You like scanned pictures, right? It wasn't.
I
It wasn't
drew it.
digital, right?
Yeah, I drew it with a just like a normal like school pencil, I guess. You'd find
Nice.
I drew it on I used like a hard book and then I drew it on computer paper
Hell yeah.
because I was
Um.
oh yeah. Sorry, go
No,
on.
no, go on. No, no, I don't. I should interrupt you. You're the guest.
No, it's okay. I was just saying what was I saying? Oh,
You're
because
saying that.
I remember now. It's because I made it when I was in the hospital. So I wasn't able to really I didn't really have I didn't have like a computer or anything like that. So that's I just kind of like wanted to make something after not having made art for like a year, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, that's base. That's like Stephen King when
did
he got hit
he
by that car.
did he do that?
You didn't know that?
Wait, did he actually get hit by a car?
Oh, you didn't know? You don't know that
I thought
story?
that was just a joke in Family Guy.
Oh no, you think Family Guy lies?
No, I just thought like the joke was that like he got hit by a car by Peter, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm going to write
Well,
misery now."
okay. First of all, I got hit by a car by Brian, and
All right.
he got hit by a car. Then went to the hospital. He wrote misery because he was kind of like, would it be fucked up if like one of my evil ass fans found me instead of the hospital?
That would suck.
Right. And he cranked out that shit because he's a beast. He's a creature. He cannot be held back.
He does
No
write a
matter.
lot, I'll give him that.
Right. Exactly. Um, I wish I should have reread Paradox because it's
It's
been
okay.
it's been a minute.
I
You
haven't
ever?
read it in a while either. So
Yeah. I get that feeling of like wanting to go back and like redo your work. There's not too many comics of mine I want to. I think the majority of my comics are like I guess shit posts at this point.
yeah,
Right. I've had like longer ongoing series. I don't want to sound too self-centered. How aware are you of my comics?
of your comics.
Yeah.
Well, I follow you on Twitter. So I've seen. I think I've seen comics you've made.
Do you know what Villain Verse is? You can say
Uh,
no, it's fine. I'm not gonna get mad.
I was. I mean, I think it's like on your like profile that you like
Yeah, yeah.
write it and work on it, but I don't think I've actually ever read it. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No worries. It's kind of I'm one of I have been I'm finally after years I'm finally gonna make a website where people could read it
Oh wow.
more like accessibly, right? And so people can be more aware of that. I am gonna go back and like I feel like I'm at like a different position now with my talent and what I kind of want to do. That a lot of people would say I shouldn't do this, but I'm probably gonna go. I am most likely gonna go back and remake those first 5 chapters
Yeah.
of Villain Verse because I feel like I'm much better now, and I feel like I can. I'm just first. I mean, first I'm just trying to like I'm just making enough comics as I can right now until I become financially stable enough to make longer comics.
Right.
Yeah, I saw you tweet out like I don't know, maybe like last year or something. You said something about you weren't super interested in making more comics or something.
Did I say that? It was probably because I
You said
was
something
like,
like
it's
that.
probably because I was feeling tired and I didn't feel like working on my comic.
You are a tweet machine. You just be constantly tweeting.
Yeah, yeah, I'm unemployed.
Oh no, it's fine. I get you.
No, it's um I probably should. I don't know. Yeah, I usually just work on my art and my comic and stuff. And
Hmm.
sometimes I'll do things with family or friends and stuff, but it's
No,
it's it's weird when you have like everyone else has like day jobs and you kind of just have like this uh
you gotta make that one. Once you keep posting pictures of that little like guy in like the devil outfit,
oh
and
yeah, that's the comic I want to make after the one I'm working on right now that I'm posting on Patreon called
nice.
Tomorrow You Don't Know Me. That's the one I'm posting exclusively on Patreon now.
It's a really fucking cool title too, by the way.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working pretty hard on it. There's like 80 pages now or something.
Hell yeah. I did want to ask you about who are your influences because I think one off the bat is you're really fucking like Adventure Time core. I think,
I do like Adventure Time.
for lack of better words.
Yeah, I like Adventure Time. I was very into it.
Hmm.
Like in my
Hmm.
late teens, sort of.
Yeah, that makes sense. You I graduated around 2015. Actually,
That's when I
graduated
graduated
2015.
also.
Oh,
I think
nice.
we're like the same
Both this.
age.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool actually.
I'm 26 years old. How old are you again?
Okay, I'm 2 years older than you. I'm
All right.
28. I mean, my birthday's in January. Plus, I don't think
Right.
I've said this on the podcast before. I actually did have to repeat the second grade
Oh.
because I was such a dum dum, and but also I technically graduated early, so
Oh.
I only graduated a semester late, because I,
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know how school years where you're at or whatnot, but like we're both like on the same side of the fucking country, so
Yeah.
um
It's the same pretty much as
yeah,
America.
I'm only behind by one semester technically, so I'm not that dumb, right? And
You're not
I could be sometimes. I think
yeah.
most of the times I'm kind of a genius most of the times, but like aside from that. No, but I did get into Adventure Time in my late teens. Did you ever this is a very common thing that I
What
think happens to a lot of people. You might not happen to you, but there gets a point to where like there's an episode of Adventure Time that everyone kind of has their episode of Adventure Time that made them stop watching Adventure Time,
right.
right? And it usually happened between season 5 and 6,
Yeah.
is as I noticed, right?
Yeah, that's when people
And
usually say they fell off, I think.
I think season 5 was like peak, like not like quality, but like popularity of Adventure Time was like season 5.
Yeah.
Maybe season
And
4?
well, I think late, like the run up, like in between season 4 and 5, because
4 and
that little kind
5.
of
Yeah, that's
that cliffhanger with the Lich and like the farm universe, like that like blew my fucking mind as a
yeah.
teenager, right?
That
And
was as a teen. I when I say like my late teens, I mean like I watched it like when everyone else was watching it in like
mhm,
2013 or whatever,
mhm,
and then I stopped watching it when everyone stopped posting about it, I guess,
Yeah,
because they didn't
yeah.
like it anymore. So I just kind of forgot about it.
There was like kind of a mini little like I think it was because of the Fiona and Cake show recently. There was kind of this little nostalgia for that, like
Right.
everything before season 4 and 5 of like Adventure Time.
Right.
And people were like recently, I mean, this guy's already kind of like a punching bag for a lot of people, but like people were talking shit about the old Jello Apocalypse video where he's like oh, so this is basically Adventure Time, and a lot of people didn't like we're talking about that video recently and said they didn't like it, and like they were trying to frame Jello Apocalypse as like being a piece of shit or like too cynical about Adventure Time, when the truth really is like no, people were like that sentiment was very common. Like when that video came out, that was a common sentiment about the show. So
I've never
that
seen the
video,
video. So I don't know.
whatever, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying is more for me and the audience as aware of it, maybe.
Okay.
Right?
I think I can guess the opinion he had, because it's probably just like basic.
He's a guy who talks like this, so you can infer a lot from that.
He's like a cartoon reviewer. I can basically infer what his opinion was. It's probably going to be what
Right.
the majority of like co-users thought or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember his opinion was very like popular opinion during Tumblr at the time.
Or like Tumblr and stuff. Yeah, that was horrible time for media literacy.
That was a great time for me. I've been the opposite of thriving ever since I stopped Tumblring.
Well, you could keep on Tumblr. People are still on Tumblr.
I used to love people that. I grew up on Tumblr, like as a teen. I was like really into Tumblr. I was a big Tumblr kid.
People are gonna clip you saying I grew up on Tumblr, and your haters are gonna use that against you.
Whatever. They've already got a bunch of bad stuff against me. They've got all kinds of garbage.
You are framed as like a Twitter bad guy, and I don't think you're not like a bad guy, like, oh, you're a bad person, but you're kind of like once like a certain hate mob picks you out.
Sometimes people get angry at me, and I guess sometimes they remember me. But I don't think people really think about me that much. I mean, I hope they don't.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty depressing.
I remember, not remember, but I remember there's this other podcast. I won't say their name because
Oh, could I just say something about Adventure Time?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying I was into it when I was a kid, and then I fell off. But then I got back into it, I think around like 2016, 2015, 2016. And I started watching the seasons everyone really hated. And
this ain't too bad.
And I really liked them, actually. Okay. I thought they were kind of weird when I first watched them, because I was kind of still just like a teenager. But they were interesting to me, and then I kept watching it, and then I actually kind of grew to love those seasons probably more than the earlier ones. I don't even really actually go back and watch the earlier ones that much.
Really?
I don't like them as much as the later ones. I think it's like a show that got like basically progressively better and better and better, sort of.
It's kind of like a consistent line for me. Like in terms of the value that I get from it, the undead businessmen and Kim Kil-wan trying to connect with his father through capitalism, same amount of like deep, concise fun.
Yeah, it's different, but it's still like enjoyable. I don't like look down on anyone who enjoys like the earlier stuff. I think it's a little people get like a little annoying sometimes online, where they like very like have like bad complaints about the later stuff, where they say it's like pretentious and stuff or whatever. And it's just like,
oh my god, yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. Maybe
my
like
only critique
is
Lemon Hope, but everyone agrees with me that Lemon Hope sucks.
Oh, I like the Lemon
Hope is like my favorite episode.
I'll say this because what happened was that I think the episode of Adventure Time just made me kind of drop Adventure Time, and I've mentioned this before on other episodes of this podcast, but it was during my anti-SJW era. Was the Betty episode. That one really made me like drop the show.
Yeah.
I'm going for a rewatch of it because now me and my partner are like watching it while we eat breakfast now. So we watch like a handful of episodes, and that's how. And I finally passed that episode. So after that episode, everything else is like new to me.
Right.
And so I'm watching like all these other episodes that are like infamous among like Adventure
Yeah.
Time fans, and finally dwelling into it. And I'm rewatching the Betty episode. Um, I mean, I could see like yeah, like me at the time made sense. I would drop this show at
Yeah.
that point, but now I'm like, well, I still don't like the episode. And I think mostly because I'm
So
not opposed of Betty coming back. I think the problem I had is that once Betty finally makes it to Ooh, it's weird how she just instantly knows how everything works. And
right.
I felt like this should have been like a Marceline episode or something because
It felt a little
the
uh
Mary
like
Sue. No.
like squished
Yeah.
the episode, but
Like
I
everything had
still
to be rushed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works because the whole point of her character is she doesn't really focus on anything else except for Simon, really.
I,
So
I I guess I just like I would have preferred if like it was like more like because like everything before that is everything connected to Simon has been really focused through a lens of like the relationship between Simon and Marceline. So I think this should have been like more of a Marceline trying like to save Simon while Betty.
you might not like the later seasons then.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I'm kind of not like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think like the Betty episode is like the worst thing ever. I just think that like
I think it's good.
uh, I I just think that like I don't know. I it's not something I would have wanted. It's too I don't know. It just doesn't make too much sense to me.
I'm
I like
curious to
how
hear your opinion about the episode where they talk about Gunther, explain where he came from, because that's also a
Oh, I'm
divisive
not there
episode.
yet. I'm like the last thing I
that
saw was
episode.
like the one where Lumpy Space Princess writes her own Fiona and Cake story and makes Ice King read it.
Right.
Yeah.
You could probably ask me like what my opinion on is on like most season 5 to end
I think
Adventure Time episodes, and I'll just say it's a good episode because I like most of them.
What
I
about
think that's fine.
Goliad?
What?
What about Goliad? Is that a good episode?
Do you
Yeah, I like that
Goliath?
episode. I like that
I
episode.
don't.
I think that
I think it's
episode's
very
fine.
mid.
I like
I think
the
it's
Lemon Hope
really
episode,
good.
even though people didn't really like it. Because I mean, I feel like it makes sense to me because it's like, oh yeah, they give Lemon Hope freedom, and
Mm.
it's not, and you know, he doesn't like it. It's this kind of thing where like I think a lot of people. I'm not saying people in this call right now, but I think a lot of people like would frame that that like the people from the Lemon Grab Kingdom they they're expecting something out of Lemon Hope. That's why they gave him freedom. But like, no, that's not how that should work. Really, you just give someone freedom because everyone should have freedom.
Well,
Yeah.
he's
Right.
kind of like a selfish character, and that's kind of the point.
Right. Exactly. Well, like the thing is, like to me, it's like
But his selfishness like kind of like changes from. He always has this desire to have independence and to have freedom, basically.
I don't
And
even know if I'd say that Lemon Hope is selfish. I would say more he feels guilt because he feels gult. Like that's what the
he feels
manifestation
guilt.
of those
He feels guilt.
dreams
Yeah,
are, right?
selfish might be the right. Selfish has like negative connotations, I guess. But he's
Yeah.
like very like self-focused as like a character, and I think like people find that alienating, I guess, and that's why like a lot of people don't like the episode. But
I think
I like it a lot.
yeah. I think with the way that so because sometimes there's like a thing with people and like people really do want people either just assume the character we're following in the story should be like the best the goodest character ever
Yeah.
or they already feel that and they assume anything that the character does is always in the right even though it might not always be
Basically.
right. So
Yeah.
yeah, with a show like Adventure Time, where like Finn tends to be correct like 80% of the time, right? Like he tends to be consistently on the right side of like
Usually.
a conflict, right?
Usually.
If you could step aside the if you could just step aside the pro monarchy message of Adventure Time,
Yeah.
but he's the good guy. He's right?
It's a functioning monarchy. It works
Right,
okay.
exactly. And so then you throw a character like Lemon Hope, and you follow that character who's a little bit more. There's a little bit something more going on. I mean, not to say that Finn doesn't have his things going on too. Finn is also a super interesting character, but like Lemon Hope, it feels he's a little bit more departed from. He's more of an anti-hero, right? And like
it's because I mean the people who make the show are into like they're all very interesting artists, I'd say. and they're into like very almost like philosophical art and stuff. Like
right.
Jesse Moynihan is very like into like spirituality and stuff like that, and he brings that a lot into.
Is he? I thought he
Jesse.
was like an atheist. Didn't he write the atheist like Princess Bubblegum episode?
No, he's like a total like spiritualist guy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's an atheist. I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else because
No,
I
he
see
did that episode. He did that episode, but
Oh,
he's
what was the deal with that episode then? If he's like, did he just become a spiritualist or?
no, I think he was since the start because he's had a long running comic called Forming, which deals with like sort of like a metaphysical, like weird spiritual stuff. And I actually like that comic's pretty good.
Right. I guess I'll check it out.
He's responsible for a lot of episodes people kind of hate and I sort of love. So
yeah, it makes sense. No, that's cool though.
He didn't do Lemon Hope though. That was Steve Wolfhard and Tom Herpich.
Nice. I'm glad you remember these people's names because I would not.
Yeah.
I only remember like the only name I consistently kind of see, and I'm like, oh, I know that name is Patrick McHale, who did Over the Garden Wall, and he
doesn't show up as much later on in the show.
Oh well, I mean, I think he's like that. I think the time where he stopped showing up would have been during like the pre-production for Over the Garden Wall. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, right? And he does a bunch of other things. He tried to do that one Frederator like cartoon for a minute.
Are you talking about the one with his wife?
Yeah, the one where it's like the main character's a maid,
right? Yeah, his wife's. Yeah. I can't remember her name. I wish I could.
Oh, that was a cool short. I wish that got a series.
I'm
good.
I'm so surprised. Like, it's crazy how popular something like The Summoning was because it was part of that like whole collection of shorts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it just didn't like go anywhere. You know. And
no.
It's like, yeah. It's,
I mean, maybe animation is too expensive, even for good stuff.
Maybe it wasn't popular enough with like people who aren't like cartoon people.
I guess. I mean, it's popular with like the porn people.
Yeah, because the only people I know who are like really into it are the porn people. That's like the only people like the porn people are like the people you can tell probably draw porn.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Isn't that character like a teenager?
I don't know. I don't fucking.
Okay, I don't want to get into that.
She's like an elf cat thing. Sure. I don't fucking know. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not trying to come off as fucking like rude and frustrated, but I think it's super. I think it's really cool when people like the unpopular episodes and whatnot because I think it's good if people like the unpopular episodes and they have like the whatever perception they're coming from is like interesting to listen, because I think like I don't know because maybe like I like the Betty episode because Betty's my waifu and I always stand by her. Like that's not. I don't know if that's super interesting to listen to. I'm not saying that's your take, Raven.
I like that. I like that episode because, as I said before, I think it actually because when I first watched it, I had the same take as you, which is that like why is this like so rushed? Why isn't there like any like culture shock from her like coming to U or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
But then I rewatched it again recently, and I realized it's actually works really well because again, like I said, her whole thing and her, I mean, you're not there yet, really, I guess, in the show, but
You think the lack of context?
her whole
Yeah.
character thing throughout the show basically is that she just wants to save, she's just obsessed with Simon, basically. She just cares about
Mm,
Simon and she just wants to save Simon. So it makes sense that she would just kind of like go blinders mode, basically, and just like focus purely on him. So I think it works. I don't know if it was intentional or not. I think it was just a little rushed because it like they're trying to fit a lot of stuff into 11 minutes. But I think it kind of works also. And I think it must have been partly intentional because like that's like kind of what her whole story becomes.
mm-hmm. No, I got you. I guess I'm coming from like because it's like I think like I get where you're coming from, and like it would
Marceline. Oh, sorry, go.
I maybe that episode is better in like once you fully consume the rest of Adventure Time, because like
Yeah.
now it has fully become a piece of the larger puzzle, right?
Yeah.
But I think it is kind of, I think I'm not saying that what you're saying is unfair, but I think it is kind of fair to say that I up to that point I did not have that context for it. So like
Yeah.
just like watching that episode, I'm like,
Out of
uh,
context, like the first time you watch it, I don't think it's as good. But if you like go back with like context from the future, it's a lot
mm,
better.
okay, all right. Well, I am gonna rewatch all through them, so
Did you
I'm
watch
gonna
Fiona
get
and
there.
Cake?
The miniseries that will
Yeah.
the I guess the season one of it apparently. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
seen
making
it.
I can't
yeah.
believe they're doing more of that. But okay, let's see
I
how it
wonder where they're
goes.
gonna go with
There was
that.
actually a few threads I kind of was confused by.
I think I liked it, although it felt more like whoever tweeted out saying like, "Oh, Simon Petrikov future." Yeah, I think that's a little bit more spot on
Yeah,
than
it
Yeah.
what it
was
felt
it
like.
was a little bit more slanted towards him, but
Hmm.
I still
I
enjoyed it. I
The
enjoyed
I
it.
whole
think the
second half is just like him, pretty much.
Right.
I think the one part that like, because I do like, I really don't think negatively of it really, because I think, oh, like this wasn't too bad, I kind of liked it, but I think the part that I do agree is like, oh, it's spoilers for Fiona and Cake. The whole fact that Cake at least stays, lets she gets to stay magic, and no one else gets like the choice of being magic or whatnot.
Yeah, I found that kind of odd.
Yeah, it's very like weird because I'm like,
So
I'm really
I hope they like expand on that. I don't know, but
right,
they probably will.
exactly. Yeah, like hopefully, like, and hopefully it's like interesting, and like, oh, they did that because they are going to go in a super interesting angle with that, and
Yeah.
it's not like Batman v Superman where like he begrudgingly has to go back and be like I guess buildings getting destroyed is bad actually. Like I totally didn't do that because I thought it was super badass that all these buildings are getting destroyed. Um,
I never watched Batman versus Superman. I
that's
actually
so
have
cool.
never seen any of the
Don't do it.
Snyder movies.
Yeah, remain
Um,
pure.
I'm
I don't like superheroes that much, so there you
no,
go.
that's cool. That means you're smarter than people.
No,
That means your brain
no,
is big.
no. There's lots of dumb people who don't like superheroes.
I think yeah, I guess you haven't consumed too much Snyder things, but I think one thing that's interesting
I
about Zack Snyder is that
I've
he
seen
figured
his
out.
movies. I just haven't
Yeah,
seen his superhero movies.
my take with Zack Snyder is that, I mean, at worst he's like just like a neo-live with
Is
like
he?
conservative. Yeah, he kind of is. He has like some
He's like a
conservative slant.
he's a libertarian.
He's a libertarian, but he's not like when we think of libertarian, I guess, because I think there
He's
was
like a
one moment where
classic libertarian.
he's
Like a
not like his fans are like weirdly insane and crazier than he ever is. Like he's just kind of a little
yeah.
bit more normal, I guess. But
I mean
It
he
might
wants
just be because he can afford to be that way.
right.
true. I think also I remember when he like called out like the geeks and gamer guy because he was like part of a fundraiser, and they were like shouting them out and or being associated with it, and he just wanted to declare that like, oh, I'm not associated with these guys are racist, which is like funny because these
That's
guys have
nice.
been rallying themselves around Zack Snyder, and they felt very butthurt about like, oh, how could Zack Snyder betray us? And it's like, well, he was never really on your fucking side. um
Yeah.
that I some a take about Zack Snyder is that I really like how he figured out how to make like camp straight, Like
What?
his
Oh
films
yeah.
are very campy. Like
Oh, yeah.
they're very campy, but he figured out how to like do that in like a straight way, you know? Because I think most camp things tend to default to leaning more
Are his
gay.
movies camp?
Yeah. Oh no, they are camp. Like 300 is hella camp. Like
300 is like a very direct
muscly man. Like it's like homoerotic, but it's like completely
I
like
don't.
straight almost.
Yeah, that is actually a good way of describing the way
hmm
it is. It's like it's homoerotic but straight.
Yeah, it's like this is homoerotic but straight.
Like not in like, oh, like you could tell like a gay guy made this and he's like sneaking in some gay subtext. It's literally just like this is like
It,
if you sapped all of the homosexuality out of something supposed to be homosexual, but it still
it
had that like
reverts back to being homosexual.
but it still has but they still got all the like bulging muscles it's like actually very like I don't know, it's like weird like
Fetishistic, you know. It's like
well, it's like kind of like fascist that movie.
no, it is too. I mean, yeah, no, don't get me wrong, it is too. But I'm saying like it's like he fetishizes men in that movie, but not in a gay way.
I mean, it's a pretty direct adaptation of the Frank Miller thing. Have you ever read the
True.
Frank Miller comic?
I read it when I was younger. I know that Frank Miller is very libertarian.
He's
He
not even
he
libertarian, he's like right-wing conservative.
he. Well, that's the thing that like you know I hear that, but like he's like fucking like well in his last Batman Return comics, Donald Trump is like the villain.
He did
It
soften a little bit recently because he had a big cancer scare, I think. And he got
I think
and
Frank Miller you said you would never consume anything superhero, so you never read something like Batman Returns, right? Or The Dark Knight
no, I've read
Returns.
that. I've read superhero stuff. I just don't like it.
You just don't line up to consume the slop. You wait for
Yeah.
the
Yes.
gilded tablets to fall from the sky.
No, I don't like the gilded ones. Actually, I feel like the best superhero stuff I've ever read has been complete slop. So,
Oh,
Really?
nice.
yeah, sometimes it's cute what they do with the slop. But I don't like Batman. Was it the Dark Knight Returns or whatever?
I I like it, but like I like it. This might be an interesting way to say this, but I like that like oh this is like a fascist Batman. I read a really fascist Batman. I think I say that as more like a compliment to the book, right? I just to be clear with the fucking audience, I'm not a fascist, but I think there's a lot of like I think a character like Batman is very versatile, but like I think there's a major like blank space we're like missing with Batman stories about where Batman is the bad guy, is like the full villain. And I think with the Dark Knight Returns, the one thing because I'd say like, oh yeah, this Batman's like definitely fascist, right? And people always are like, no, oh no, he's not. Because like the way the book is written, of course, Batman doesn't come off as a fascist to people because the universe in The Dark Knight Returns justifies all of Batman's actions.
Yeah.
The only difference is that in real life, the universe never justifies fascist, right? So they come off as like super fucking idiots and pieces of shit, right? But like in The Dark Knight, he like you know, and I think there's little moments in The Dark Knight where like I think they're a little self-aware of like that they're writing Batman to be fascist. Not to say I'm not saying like Frank Miller
Probably a couple.
is because like the story literally starts with him like in a race car getting like a thrill of like being in a race car and making it burn down. And I'm like, oh, that's connected to like him being like Batman. There's a thrill to it, right? There's a thrill to like, you know, being this fucking
But
right?
I think for like Frank Miller, he's like, yes, he should feel like that because he's awesome. He's Batman.
Right. No, yeah, no, definitely, right. But I think I don't know, I think I'm like fine with that, you know, because it's like it's kind of like honest, you know. I think I look if you're gonna be like a fascist artist, at least be like an honest one because I think those are like those are the most kind of interesting ass like pieces of art to get. You know, I don't think
when you're reading something from a crypto fascist, you notice, and it gets very annoying.
I don't like a hot take. I don't like Stone Toss. And I think
that's
because
not
like
hot take,
right? Yeah, no, I know. But what I don't like is that like he's like fake. You know, he's not like a real like person. You know,
He makes
right?
some very confusing comics sometimes.
Well,
Like he's being like so crypto that it's like I'm not even sure what you're like exactly you're trying to say.
trying to say, most of the time it's because he wants to see, and the thing is that he also wants to come off as normal too, like a
Yeah.
regular person. He's incredibly self-conscious, and it's very obvious and like looking through like all of his comics, like, oh, he's very self-conscious about like how he wants to be perceived, because it's like, he wants to like trick you, that he wants to he gets off of like tricking people, that like, the whole thing about like when people are like, oh, he's a Nazi, and his fans are like, you think a Nazi do this, and it's just like one of his more sillier comics, right? Like he gets off on that, right? Because he likes the idea, like he loves this idea that he's not being perceived when he obviously is, right? And I think like I don't really like about that, about like, he's like masturbating in front
It's
of
like
us.
it's weaselly.
It is Weasley, right? Well, there's this other artist, and I won't say their name because I don't like, they're a lot smaller, and I don't want to like drive too much attention to them, because not because I think they're gonna cause major damage, but because there's a couple of hangups. I won't say too much, but there's this other artist who leans also kind of fascist, but all their work is like honest about themselves. Like they can't be nothing but like but themselves, right? Like something like a Stone Toss, he wants his work to spread. All of his comics, like the word bubbles are big, so you can edit out the text and put whatever you want, right? He wants it to spread. While there's other artists that I'm talking about, they their work is like kind of anti like meme almost, like they kind of hate the idea of people editing their art, so they make sure that like everything is just annoying so you can't like edit it, right? Like because it's their work, even though they would like to spread a fascist message, but expressing themselves comes first, and I think oh, that's way more interesting than like someone trying to like someone expressing themselves is way more interesting than someone like trying to secretly convince you of something,
I guess.
Yeah.
I'd rather they just don't do it either way.
I mean, true. In a perfect world.
But
right?
I guess if I had to pick my poison, I would agree with you.
Would you pick 100% Hitler or 99%?
No, because people are less likely to latch on to 100% Hitler. Because it's just too brazen. People are off put by that.
And on Halloween, you can prop him up in a corner, and he makes a nice set piece.
Hitler?
Yeah, 100% Hitler. No one's taking him seriously, so you can have a little fun with him.
Next time, just vote for 98% Hitler, right? And then just keep going down until we get 0% Hitler.
We'll make our way down eventually.
And then my grandkids could vote for 55% Hitler.
The year is 3085. Finally, 2% Hitler. We've done it.
What the fuck were we talking about? I wanted to ask you about Breezy. What do you think about Breezy, Raven?
Who's that?
The Adventure Time episode.
Oh, okay. We're still that's a very good episode, I'd say.
You like that episode? Yeah, I remember I never watched that episode until recently, but I would hear everyone like.
I know a lot of people have a lot of problems. People are very off put by it.
That's one of my favorite episodes. I lock people in rooms and I'm like, hey, you got to watch this episode of this cartoon. And I show them Breezy.
It's also a Jesse Moynihan episode, and he does some of the more weirder ones with more like more like metaphors and like imagery and stuff like that.
Does Jesse Moynihan like write is a writer on Adventure Time to the end? Or I
think he I don't know as a storyboard artist, but I think on the later Distant Lands he was a writer, so he like came up with plot stuff, I think.
Word.
I don't know how much though. He was just in the credits, I just remember.
Yeah, the first time I heard about Jesse Moynihan is people were expressing them as like some sort of boogeyman of Adventure Time.
Yeah, people really hated that episode. Wow. It really pissed them off. It's definitely one of the more it's into like, it's one of the episodes that I think like started to really establish it going into like sort of like deeper character stuff. And like sort of like maybe more like sort of like complicated themes that are difficult to express, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one of the most adult episodes because I mean it's basically just an adult episode about
What
relationships.
what did you think Lumpy Space Princess did to Finn? I'm not gonna judge
Uh,
you. Don't
you
worry.
know,
This is
you
a
know what?
safe space.
If I would change one thing about that episode, I
Was
would
that
change
scene?
I would change that scene a little bit
Okay, all
because
right. Okay.
because I think it just doesn't. It's not because basically she's actually a scam.
Yeah, basically, right. It's
And then if she like as like a character or not like I don't know, it's not well no, she like yeah, it is kind of because she like pressures him basically.
mm-hmm.
And that's like I can't really I don't that's I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it because I kind of like the idea of characters doing bad things, but
Mm-hmm.
then
Right.
you still like them and later on they do good things, but I
Right.
don't think they really focused on that aspect of her character
Yeah.
in a way that was
Mm-hmm.
interesting, or they just didn't focus on it at all. I think because they realized it was like way too dark, probably to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No, I get you. I actually like. I mean, I like that because I thought that was very like.
I like it in the
It was like,
episode.
oh, this is like a real. This is like something that happens in real life, right?
Yeah,
Like this is a thing. This was eventually probably would have happened or not, but
yeah.
you know.
I like it in the episode, but I think like I don't know, like I guess it's okay to just have like standalone things like that sometimes because the show is very like certain episodes will feel like completely different shows almost depending
Mm-hmm.
on who's like boarding it and writing it and stuff.
Like
And
the
that's like
miscellaneous gags that imply that Jake and Princess Bubblegum are a thing,
I don't even
Mm-hmm.
know what
and they
you're
just
talking
slide
about.
it right by you.
I
There
don't
are
even
like
know
some
All
what
the
you're
little
jokes that
people,
are like,
like little all the little people, wasn't there like Jake was kissing Princess Bubblegum, or am I thinking of a different episode? Oh no,
every
wait,
character was
a
kissing like
glitch is
every
a
character.
glitch, and a glitch is a glitch. They have the mo with the hands. I remember.
yeah. And
Yeah.
one of the earlier episodes, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a similar gag. And I just like that because
Probably.
it's just funny. Like they could be
Yeah.
doing a whole bunch of stuff off screen that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's my opinion on Adventure Time episode Breezy. But
So breezy. All right. Yeah, yeah, so yeah, that's all I got for I think Adventure Time related questions.
okay.
Um what was I gonna
Be sure to
say?
put your Adventure Time related questions in the comments below. We'll read them
Do
all
Yes.
out next episode. No,
I'll read
you
them. I will read them all. And then I'll reply disagreeing with you if I don't
you'll tweet
agree.
about them. If you want Raven to say something bad about you on Twitter,
No,
you should.
I won't do that. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that.
I remember people there was one tweet that you got a lot of shit for that I was on your side. I think I'm on your side for like 90% of your tweets, I think.
It's good.
Yeah,
That's all I can hope for, really.
yeah, I mean if there's any that I disagree with, I can't remember right now. But I remember because you were there was that one Roald Dahl quote that was going around
Oh my
from the
God.
book Twitches. Yeah, yeah. You know
I
what I'm
actually
talking
still have
about.
nightmares about that.
Yeah, and like I think what's so funny because they were like grown ass adults like looking at that quote, and it's like the quote is literally just saying, yeah, you could totally judge someone by their appearance. Like that's fine.
As long as they're
And
mean.
yeah, exactly. And it's like grown ass adults like agreeing like, yeah, that's so true. That's so fucking true. And it's like, what the fuck are you smoking? Are you 8?
Yeah, it's a bad quote.
Yeah,
Roald Dahl's a very mean man. He's
yeah,
a mean, bitter man. It's kind of I do like that quote though because it basically summarizes like his entire philosophy basically, which is like if I like this person, then I'm not going to make fun of them for things you'd make fun of people about. But if I don't like them, well, then they're just like a fat asshole, or
yeah,
they're just it just depends on how I'm framing it basically. Like
yeah,
in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, is like Augustus Gloop. He's like, oh, he's a fat like brat. He eats all this food. Look at this fat boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then also in like Matilda, there's a character that's basically just Augustus Gloop. But like in that narrative, he like is sympathetic to that character for just totally arbitrary reasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I agree because it's kind of like, yeah, like it is that underlying like you people like just kind of like don't like, oh, thank God you're a nice person because I would have not liked you for being such a fat piece
Yeah,
of shit. Actually, thank God
yeah.
you're a good person because you are fucking ugly. And
Kind of reminds me of people who like think it's okay to like misgender people if they're like shitty people or something.
yes, oh my God, no, you're 100% right on that.
That's like
Yeah.
what would be the appropriate way to describe it? Bigotry on easy mode.
A little bit,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good quote.
I
Did you
I
get that from somewhere?
I'd say it's like
No,
conditional bigotry.
It's like that's a very mean thing. Oh, Julian, that quote's a little bit too smart for you. Where did you get that from?
I was just thinking like whenever I hate someone, I put effort into like digging their grave and shitting in it before I throw them in. So like
Right.
misgendering
Um,
someone, like that's not enough effort. Like your hatred is impure if
nah,
that's your first step.
Yeah.
I'm not a bigot. Like you're a fascist. That's fine as long as you're a nice person. It's cool. Actually, pretty chill with me actually. Um,
You're saying that like bigotry is easy hatred and real dedicated hatred is when you like stalk someone and then
yeah,
say
real.
or like a serial killer or something.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah, that's like tier 3, but we'll get back to that later.
Yeah, hey,
Okay.
it's that it's hatred is that like how the monarch is in the Venture Bros. How he lives for the hate. He would never kill his enemies because that's just a way for their enemies to escape his hate. He's got to keep them
Right.
Yeah.
alive.
I was never, you know what, I was never into Venture Bros. I've never been able to really
Really,
get into it.
Oh, it's
I
so
would,
really,
good.
it's pretty gay. Like I don't know why.
there's some gay
You like
stuff in
that
it.
shit, right?
Me?
You like
Yeah.
gay shit, right?
Yeah. There's like some gay men in it, right?
Well, like
Some,
you could argue that every like relationship Adventure Bros has like an aura of homoeroticism to it,
Okay.
right? Like there's a lot of shipping with
Right.
Rusty
I've
and
seen it. Yeah.
Brock. Yeah, I see the shipping. You don't have to tell me, Cheesymanfredo. um, but
I know people.
I've seen the slash fic.
the ending
Yeah.
is pretty like I mean, well, not the I don't want to
They're
call it
bringing
the
it
ending.
back, isn't it? I think.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. There has been
Well,
no confirmation. Like there's people saying there'd be like a fake ass article being like, "Oh, talks of another season of Venture Bros,"
didn't
and
they
then like one of
release?
the co-creators be like, "If there was talks of another season, you would hear it from me first,
Didn't
right?"
they release like new designs though, or was that
They
for
did.
like designs for a later season?
They the last thing was the movie, and it wasn't really
Uh,
like I mean I liked it, but it wasn't really a movie. It was more like this is what the next season would have been, but we had to condense it into a movie.
all
Yeah,
right.
And I was like, oh God, I would have killed if this was just the next season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was never a Venture Bros kid
yeah,
growing up. I was
yeah, me neither. I got into it like I think in during community college.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
I think I saw it like just on an off chance, probably late 2009. We were watching Naruto at my grandma's, and
nice.
normally we weren't allowed to continue watching after Adult Swim, but I had already gotten a taste. So I wanted to keep watching after Toonami ended, and I watched Venture Bros, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Venture Bros is pretty decent because it's pretty episodic. Even into like the later episodes, it's very episodic.
Yeah.
And
I was more of a moral oral kid growing up.
oh,
Oh, yeah, that's a good
that's
one, too.
fucked up. A moral oral kid, that's fucked up.
Not like as a kid, like when I was like 15, 16, sort of like mid-teens.
I was a robot chicken kid.
I was when I was young. I did enjoy Robot Chicken quite a bit. I did have some very good times with friends laughing at the robot chicken.
My
I actually only got into
current-
Robot Chicken probably like in the last 5 or so years.
I tried to rewatch some recently,
Okay,
and
yeah,
it was very interesting. It was, I'd say, unintentionally funny at times.
You're watching watching the newer seasons of Robot Chicken. I'm kind of like, I don't know. Maybe if I was younger or super fucking high.
Later ones, I don't think are that.
I like the.
I mean, the earlier ones are not that great either.
I like the DC comic specials that they did. I really like their villains in Paradise. I'm a sucker for like villains. I'm a big villain guy.
I like villains too.
Right, not as much as me though. I'm bigger.
I was into villains. I like Zim. My favorite comic, I guess, growing up was Batman because I enjoyed the villains. I thought they were kind of fun.
No, I gotcha. I'm fucking with you.
It's always interesting that every character in Batman ends up being more interesting than Batman.
Yeah,
depending on like which run you're looking at.
Except
kind of like,
go on. Oh no, I was gonna make a controversial statement. Okay, I don't think the Joker is that interesting. I think he's kind of a boring character.
Hard agree.
He's sort of boring.
They never really do much with him.
There's not much to do. He's just clown man. He's just clown man.
To me, that's like here's the thing. I'm in where it's like, to me that's enough. I just need him to be clown man, right? But to everyone else, he's like, no, he has to be Tyler Durden. He has to be fucking Travis from Taxi Driver. You got to be all these things. Like, there's a strong belief to it, and I'm like, it doesn't have to be. I'm fine with him just being the clown guy, and he does.
Let's get Jack Nicholson to be a clown man. That's what we want.
I'm the kind of guy that like, all my comics will have a clown guy eventually.
My favorite
is eventually gonna.
Are there clowns in that?
One was gonna pop up in the current chapter that I was working on, which I started working on 2 years ago. I just been busy because I've been I'm going through a gauntlet of financial crisis right now.
That's
it's cool though. I'm alive. I'm still here.
Yeah.
That's what's really happening. Cheesy is going through a series of Greek trials. I'm his glorious heavenly moderator. I'm here to make sure if he dies, there's someone there to confirm it.
I'm going for my gauntlet of Greek tragedies. Just accidentally fucked my mom. Shit.
Oh, don't do that.
Hey, don't do that.
That's bad. Don't do that. That's my advice.
If you were given the option to fuck your mom, say no, kids.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That's pretty easy.
And knowing is half the battle.
That tragedy is kind of fucked up because if the Oracle didn't tell the king about that, it would never happen. It only happened because he told them, which in my fan theory, the Oracles are always the bad guys because the moment they tell you the thing is going to happen, it's going to happen now.
Yeah.
They did that on themselves. That's my game theory.
Only oracles I know about are the oh wait, no, they're not oracles in Hercules, they're muses. All I know is muses from Hercules because
the oracles are in the Disney thing.
Right,
they
got the ones they have no eyeballs, right?
Yeah,
those are specifically like that.
I'm just remembering they're the Fates.
In Oedipus, there's directly like a guy called the Oracle who has like a little boy. We don't know why. He just has
those guys. You're right. Those are the Fates, the old witchy ladies.
Yeah. They're like directly like witches that have been cursed because there's a thing that happened. It's explained in the MCU. I gotta watch that. Okay. Oh my god! I had something I was gonna say, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Here's a question, Raven. You into One Piece? You know anything about One Piece?
You know what? I never got into One Piece. Damn. It seems like it's a little daunting, because it's very long. And
I'd say this: when One Piece is like, I think the majority of One Piece is really good. When it's really good, it goes by like a breeze. But when it's like really bad, it's like, oh god, I just want to get to the next part already.
Well, I'll also say the second part is I'm also not very interested. So I probably won't watch it.
Yeah, like it's very like, actually I don't even know how much you like. I don't think I have the vibe. Tell me if I'm wrong. I have the vibe that you're not really into like when a pervert character, like a gag character. I don't think you're too much into that. I don't know how
Like a gag character?
like when there's a pervert character and he's like, oh,
Oh,
the gag is that he's a pervert, haha, hee hee.
yeah, that's like all anime though. You have to
Well, not all. That's I
get
feel
past
like
that.
that's being like phased out very slowly, but it's being like phased out because
Yeah.
it
Oh,
was way more popular like in the early like I mean in the early
2000s.
2000s, right? And I mean One Piece is yeah started in the early 2000s, so
Yeah.
you know, um, I
I'm not like crazy about that, but like if the
mhm.
show's good, I can like ignore stuff like that basically.
I was
Like
in
I
a yeah
sorry, go on.
no
Oh,
no
no,
go on.
I was just saying I'm into I grew up with like Evangelion and stuff, and
Nice.
that has a lot of very weird sexualization of 14-year-olds. But if you
Mm-hmm.
can get past it, it's still a pretty good show. And sometimes they
Sex
do interesting stuff, I guess, with the sexualization.
sexualizing minors is okay if you're trying to say something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm always telling people.
I
That's
mean, like
no
there's like the
no
scene where like
officer.
shit
That's what I'm trying to say.
is just like the scene where like it's still not like great 100%, but it's like I get it. It's like kind of interesting,
Yeah,
like the scene with like Shinji and Rei where she's like naked and it's like
yeah.
sort of like a fan service, half framed as like a fan service thing, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
also like portrayed as like super awkward and uncomfortable. Like
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that. And like the of course the infamous scene from the movie and all that. That's good.
The classic scene from
Yeah.
the movie, the iconic scene.
You could do stuff with like teenagers and sexuality that isn't like creepy.
Right.
I just think like Evangelion, like a lot of anime just goes into the territory where they're just being creepy. It's
Yeah, yeah. Because there's like it's like this is kind of like when you know understand fucking media and how to interpret shit. You know, you could tell when like they want you to be turned on by a
yeah.
minor when like they're trying to say something.
It is funny
Um,
with like the movies and stuff. Like they do a lot of fan service and the rebuilds.
oh yeah.
And my friends are really into Mega 64, and
Hmm.
I watch their stuff sometimes. And they were saying like Rocco and uh, I don't know who else. Probably Garrett, Rocco and Garrett were like saying like, "Oh, the fan service. See, it's like it's making fun of the fan service. That's why there's like so much fan service." And Sean was like, "No, I think they're just doing fan service because they want to do fan service."
Yeah, I think you gotta like. I haven't seen those. I got a buddy who's really into it, so if he hears this episode and he hears my take, he might get mad. But like, I those movies were definitely like just a cash grab mostly.
Yeah,
Like
they're not. They're. I don't know. Could I say like opinions about them? I guess.
you could say opinions, it's fine. I'm not gonna cancel you. My podcast isn't that popular.
Yeah, I was just the first one's bad, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, the animation is bad in all of them, I'd say, because they do
Mm,
that like weird modern day anime thing where they add like a lot of bloom effects,
mm.
and like it just doesn't really have like the character of the old stuff. I feel kind of like uh, a doofus saying that, but like the old stuff really kind of has like a really cool look to it.
Old good, new
That
bad.
is a
Um,
popular perspective. A lot of times when I show my sister anime, she will complain that she prefers the grainier stuff. And I'm
Yeah,
like, well, there's only so much old stuff I can show you. I picked this
there,
new show because I
there's
thought you'd like it.
there's new stuff that looks fine,
I
like
think
that has like even like the digital look to it, but
Yeah.
like a
you
little
could
Jack Academia, I think looks good, or like people like Kill la Kill, that looks fine.
I think
But
I mean if you could like it's fine to say like oh you like something specifically like older as long as like your reasoning is like as long as it's not something like because it wasn't woke or some
yeah,
stupid shit like that.
there is a
If it's
part of
not a
me that
superficial reasoning, it's gotta be
there's a
like
part of me that's kind of like allergic to that like kind of thinking though sometimes, like on
uh
like a gut level,
you were
because like I
raised
feel
on
like
Tumblr, so you're immune.
well, it's like when I hear people say stuff like oh, like, it's sometimes it can be like very annoying. People say stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I do like the animation, the older Evangelion better. It looks cooler. The action is better, in the old one also, because like in the rebuilds they do like a lot of like crazy action with like
Mm-hmm.
lots of special effects, but in like the early stuff, like it would just be like the entire action set piece would be like, basically they have to like walk forward and then like use their knife or something,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know, or just like jump or something, or literally just like fall or something. And it like the simplicity of it, I think makes it work a lot better. But I
Mm.
think the rebuilds they do some interesting stuff. I think I actually like the third one a lot. The first
Mm.
part of the third one a lot, even though people kind of don't like that one. They like the second
Yeah,
one a
I
lot.
hear a lot of people
Most
shit
people
out
are
that third
wrong.
one.
I
Yeah.
like the third one. I think it's kind of good.
Mm.
And I wasn't super into the ending. It was okay.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I've learned a particular strat. I say I like everything about the rebuilds, and it pisses off people who like the old show, but it also pisses off rebuild people who
Yeah,
only like some parts of it. They all get to
yeah, because
stay away from me.
I don't think anyone who's like fan of the rebuilds likes everything in the rebuilds.
Yeah. You have one guy who's like, I hate Mari. Oh, she shouldn't be there.
Yeah. She's that character is kind of just exists for like fan service. It feels kind of mean saying that to the character. I feel bad for being mean to the fake anime character, but like she doesn't really do much.
It's all right.
She
Years
doesn't
of internet debate has confirmed they aren't real.
she has a cute bit where she's like sniffing Shinji. I like that. I wish they made her more like feral, like a weird dog person. But like she honestly just didn't get enough screen time. She didn't really have any
Yeah.
characterization compared to the other guys.
Yeah, she does kind of come out of nowhere.
She's just there to
She
solve
solves
weird.
everyone's problem. She understands how magic works, and nah.
I see the thread you're weaving. I
Yeah,
think this
this
has
is all
legs.
part of the plan. I was getting Raven into a trap. No, but yeah, I only saw like those first two rebuild movies. So, and I'm not really planning to watch the other ones. I'm not. No one said anything that's made me interested in watching the last two.
I
It
just
is
watched
kind of just like more Evangelion.
yeah,
Mm,
basically. It's like it goes into like a different sort of timeline sort of thing.
mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Spoilers for the Evangelion rebuild,
Uh,
I guess.
I'm aware of like Shinji is now in modern Japan and he has a family or whatnot. Spoilers, I guess.
Wait, that
Um,
happened?
Does that happen in the last one?
Oh, that
The
happens in
very
the
last
last
one.
one at like the very end. I don't know if he has a family. I don't
Oh,
remember.
nobody became like a salary man, and he's like, "Yes, this is what I wanted. I wanted a normal,
Yeah,
boring life."
a normal, boring life. I think he's also like dating Mari or something. I don't remember.
Hell
Perfect.
yeah.
That movie was bad. I didn't like it. I thought it was bad. My friends really liked it. I didn't like it.
Nice. Um, let me talk about One Piece because it's been on my mind, and this is my podcast. This is my podcast where I'm the main character, and I have the syndrome. So I
Okay,
feel like I'm allowed to be a little bit selfish.
Oh
sure.
God,
Talk
he's
about One
unleashing his
Piece.
syndrome.
You might have heard people. I have okay. I have a problem with when people say that like One Piece is very lefty and socialist. I have a very big problem with that
People do
because
say that.
people do say that. I disagree because
Yeah.
like there's a lot of like really positive left leaning messaging in One Piece. Like a lot. Don't get me wrong. There's like a bajillion, like a lot of very like, oh, that's pretty based, and
All right.
base and left pilled and whatnot, right? But like there is a lot of like, I think one thing is that a major kind of like the majority of One Piece arcs are mostly just about restoring monarchy. Like
Mm,
usually, and this is I'm basically gonna spoil every single arc in One Piece. So
okay.
the Straw Hats, they get on an island and they meet some like oppressed person, some person who the system of the island has failed them, and this person becomes friends with Luffy and the gang, and
All
and
right.
then they find out that oh, actually, the island used to have a former king, but he's been usurped by an outsider or something, right? Like an
Right.
outsider came in and he weaved an elaborate plot to take the power away from the king. And now the person
Typical.
who's ruling the kingdom is this evil guy, right?
Yeah.
And Luffy's
Typical
like, I don't like
story.
that. I gotta beat him up. And then they beat up. Well, a bunch of billion things happen, and then Luffy beats him up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly that the guy who's now ruling the kingdom, he has a bunch of wacky bad guys with sad backstories, and he's like,
Sounds fun.
wacky bad guys, stop the straw hats, and then the wacky henchmen, they're like, ooh, we're wacky, but we also have these very compelling backstories, right? And
It's
they all get
cute.
right, exactly. And I think one thing that I really like is that the bad guys always had enough henchmen that each member of the Straw Hats could fight one of them, right? So everyone gets
Yeah.
a fight, right? Everyone has their own designated like wacky guy they
Right.
have to fight, right? You
Right.
know. So yeah, basically that's like the majority of like fucking like One Piece stories. They're not all
Okay.
like that, right? Um, I still like One Piece. Don't get me wrong. I think the great thing about One Piece is that like the creator Oda, he like throws like 50 million things at you, and you tend to like a lot of it. Sometimes he throws stuff and it's like, I don't really like that. Like sometimes there's like there'll be like a pervert character, or there's like a moment that's like, I don't really like that moment. But luckily he introduces like a new crazier thing, a new wackier
Right.
thing later, right? And it's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
Okay.
Um, that being said, I'm mostly caught up with it, right? So
Hmm.
I'm like the second to last arc that's been going on. I'm like mostly caught up with that. I am watching the actual anime with my partner because they got into it after we watched like the live action version, and they really like wanted to
Sorry, are one of you guys playing video games?
no.
Oh, I just
No.
thought I heard a noise of like a remote. I'm sorry for interrupting.
I think it's because I moved my mic slightly.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry
You,
about
I
that. I'm
never
sorry.
game in
you
podcasts.
don't
That's
you don't
unprofessional.
want people to play video games. Are you guys recording a
No,
podcast and
no,
playing
I
video
just
games?
I just didn't know what the noise was. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
Uh,
pointed it out.
no, don't worry about it.
We'll
Look,
fix
look,
it in post,
Raven.
maybe.
If the One Piece talk is boring you, just say so.
I mean, I'm
No,
definitely not gonna watch the show.
I'm not trying to convince you to watch it. I'm mostly doing this for me right now.
Okay. I
Okay.
hear a lot of people talk about One Piece.
I mean, it's super popular. It's Liz Ass. It's like
Yeah.
it's incredibly fucking popular, right? And
Someday it may eclipse the Bible.
I feel like if you had made me choose between the Bible and One Piece, I'm choosing One Piece every time.
I never does Bible have awesome scenes where
There's
guy
not
stretches
There
and
are
gets
some awesome scenes.
the
head
power
punch.
the power system in the Bible is so like sloppy, and like I don't know how strong anyone is. And I
Hmm.
hate that, like, oh, if God chooses, like, there's so much inconsistency. Like, humans could defeat angels, but they're on the side of God. So how does that work? Like, but it's just so all over the place. One Piece is at least consistent with its power
You
system.
should you should write the people who wrote the Bible a letter.
Yeah, a big worded letter. I don't like how the people who wrote the Bible should watch some anime so they could get some tips and pointers. Right.
That would be fun.
Okay, but anyway, so recently in our rewatch of the anime, and we're not actually like watching we're not watching the actual fucking anime. What we're watching is that someone on Reddit has edited together because there's a lot of filler in the anime, and someone edited
Um,
together the things that actually happen in the manga to be like hour-long episodes that like breeze through the story at a way better pace, right?
Yeah, because the
Um,
proper anime will take like 2 pages of content and stretch it out over like 10 minutes.
they'll in the anime they'll create filler islands where wackier things happen or whatnot, and I'm just
Yeah.
not
right.
interested because nothing too crucial happens in those filler stuff. I just
I,
want the stuff that actually happens in the manga.
I've been watching or not watching. I've been reading Dungeon Meshi. People are
Oh, that's
pretty.
super popular.
It's
Classic.
very popular, and I just started it and I like it. It's cute.
That's cool. You should I feel like you should tweet more about the stuff you like.
I do. I
You
always
do?
post like screenshots from things I like, and I like
Hmm.
share stuff like that.
I guess I see you're more like your mo I don't like a thing tweets circulate a lot more than I like a thing tweet.
Maybe.
uh, but
Maybe.
but anyway, I'm not done. I got to okay. So recently we passed through a part in the anime that to the fans they think a lot of the fans think this is a very boring part, and it's called the Fishman Island arc, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
in One Piece there's fucking fish people, right? They exist, and they're kind
Fish
of like
people.
the more the series goes on, the more it's like, oh, the fish people are like a minority group,
Right.
and they're like an oppressed minority group because like
Right.
slavery is illegal in the One Piece universe, but they're still slaves, right? Um,
Yeah.
and we eventually get to Fishman Island, which has been an island that they've been hyping like for a good while. Like a bunch of crazier things have happened in between the first mention of Fishman Island and whatnot, right? And I did not like Fishman Island when I read it for the first time. I thought it was a slog, and it was just like, oh, I
Yeah.
just gotta get to the end. That being said, on the rewatch, I hate it even more. I still don't really like it.
Oh,
There's other aspects I've liked better, right? But the one thing that I don't like is that there's a character in Fishman Island, and her name is like Queen Hime, and she's like the fishman. She's the queen of the island, right? They're ruled by a royal family. She's the queen, right?
right.
And she's a really big liberal. She's very like really big, like annoying ass liberal. She's like,
How
if I were to compare, she's like Hillary Clinton, if you will,
how is
right?
she like Hillary Clinton?
Okay, well, I'm getting to that, Raven. But basically, so on Fishman Island, they live underwater. They live in a giant like air bubble, right?
Uh-huh.
And and only really like fishmen live on this island. Fishmen and mermaid, they're the same species, right? And
Okay.
humans would come down to basically kidnap them and sell them, to like as slaves, right? That's like a
It's
big,
fucked up.
yeah, that is fucked up, right? And the way it's framed, the queen, she believes that humans won't enslave us if we stop hating them, right? And it's like
Okay.
weird because humans don't live in Fishman Island. They can't, right?
It's a little odd.
Yeah. It says they like, and anytime the majority of times, anytime any fishman interacts with Fishman Island, they're mostly just there to cause trouble. Mostly the majority of people who only like go to Fishman Island are pirates with the interest of like,
Right.
kidnapping them, right?
Enslaving them.
Right, exactly, And but the queen is so convinced that like, oh, because her plan, see, what her plan is that she wants to collect petitions from every citizen on Fishman Island to relocate the kingdom to the surface, right?
Okay.
Because she believes if we're closer to humans, we'll hate them less, because we'll see them more often, right? Even like
Uh,
she doesn't
yeah.
she doesn't consider that like, well, isn't the onus on the humans to first stop hating fishmen, because
Can the fishmen live on land?
they can live on land. Fishmen can live on land. It's
It seems like a weird metaphor. It seems a little confused, is what I say.
yeah, it is very like confusing. And another thing is like a big aspect about Fishman Island that like later in the arc they talk about it, but they don't like, fully like they don't really fully focus on it, is that in Fishman Island there's a place called the Fishman District. And like they don't, and everything we know about this district is that these are lower income neighborhoods
Okay.
because this is where like all the Fishman criminals come from.
Right.
And this is really like a neglected part of their community, and she's
Yeah.
like just focusing all of her efforts on relocating the fucking kingdom for no fucking reason. There's really is no real fucking reason for them to do that. She should be focusing on the Fishman district, which for some reason, all because there's kids there who are born and raised into crimes, and they join gangs and they terrorize people, right?
Yeah.
and why isn't she focusing on helping them? Obviously their needs are not being met in their society, right?
Yeah, that's
Because that's kind of like where the villain of this arc comes from. He's a guy called Horty Jones is his name. He's a fish
is
man, right?
is he this big purple guy I'm looking at?
You could post the image in the voice chat
He's
if
like
you.
he's like purple and bluish purple.
Does he have like does he have like an underbite with tusk?
No, I
Does he
think
have a
it's
pointy nose
he does have a pointy nose.
that's like sharp?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's Arlong.
Okay.
So
Oh, I
Arlong,
think I see the guy. He's like blue. He's got like big tusks.
yeah,
He's like
that's
kind
not
of chubby.
that's not Horty Jones either. That's Jimbei. There's a bajillion One Piece characters.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of fish guys.
Yeah,
No, that's not the guy. That's Clemens
that's
double stuff.
that's Dippy Dog. He's the arc
Dippy
of
dog.
That's
Dippy.
Sam Heisenberg.
This guy is a Horty Jones.
Oh,
This
okay.
guy, right?
He's kind of looks a little cunty.
A
Gotta
little
say.
bit. So anyway,
A little bit.
so he was a kid who grew up in the Fishman district, right? And basically
Mhm.
he is basically like a white supremacist. He's basically a white supremacist for Fishman, right? So he's a Fishman supremacist, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of like things like when I first like read this arc, I didn't really like this character because like I
Mhm.
guess my priority was that I only really gave a shit about a villain if they were like super strong. And Horty's not like that strong compared to like a bunch of other guys we meet. They kick his ass pretty easily, right?
Right.
But like everything surrounding Horty and his backstory, I like on the rewatch, I really enjoyed because he's like, oh, he was a kid who
Yeah.
grew up in the Fishman district, and since his community was neglected, the only
Yeah.
like people the only like figures in his life that he could look up to were people like Arlong. Now
Mhm.
Arlong was also like a fishman supremacist too, right? And
Okay.
we meet him earlier on in like One Piece, right?
Uh-huh.
And he basically like enslaves one of the Straw Hat members, Nami,
Right.
who right before she joins the crew. Luffy's like the one who like frees her and helps her, right? So
Uh-huh.
anyway, Arlong is defeated earlier on, right? And
Right.
Horty hears about this, and that makes him so like upset, right? That he hatches
Right.
this. He like he's upset that his big Chad like Aryan Fishman got defeated, right? I actually really like that
Yeah.
Horty. I actually really like that Horty's like fat. That Horty isn't like buff Chad like Arlong. That he's like kind of
Right.
like overweight and like chubby, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens is that he Horty joins like the royal like guards because like that's like one of the few like people, and this kind of happens in real life too. People from lower income neighborhoods have no choice. The only real escape is to like join the military or something, right? And
Yeah.
that's what happens to Horty and a lot of like the people he calls his fishmen brothers. They like also join the military, but the real plan is to use the military training for their own nefarious goals, because their plan is that they're gonna like amass a huge army of like fishmen supremacists, all from the Fishman district.
Mhm.
The royal family who's like not even focusing on them because they don't really give a fuck about them. Um,
Right.
and his plan is that they're gonna take over the fucking kingdom, right? And
Right.
and one angle that I thought was very interesting was that Horty also takes like steroids,
Okay.
and he takes them, to get fucking super strong so he can fight whoever he wants, right? But the thing is that like fishmen are already super strong. They're like superhuman. They're way more stronger than humans, right? But I'm
Mhm.
willing to bet that like something about seeing Arlong getting defeated kind of like, mess with his psyche, with Horty's psyche a little bit. That like, he had to kind of like, maybe he part of him was kind of like, oh shit, humans can kick our ass. I have to make up
Mhm.
for that some way by taking these steroids. But of course, he's never going to admit to that like hang up that he
Right.
has, to him, and it's the whole irony of him talking about Fishman being the superior species when he needs a drug just to fight one human,
Right.
right? and I just really like kind of like this whole kind of like portrayal they have going on of
It's
like,
an
oh, this,
insecure character.
yeah, this is like, this is how like a fascist, this is how like a white supremacist, this is how they pop up into the world, right? They're either
I guess it'd be less like a white supremacist, more like a black nationalist or something.
yeah,
Instead, like
some
an actual like discriminated group.
right, exactly. And I think what kind of sucks is that like the series really frames the queen as being this ultimate savior. She did no wrong, right? Even
Plan's kind of dumb.
yeah, exactly. And what's so annoying is that like one of her sons, one of her prince, like, he has this confrontation with Horty, and he's all like, "Oh, Horty, why do you hate humans? What did a human ever do to you?" And then Horty's all like, "Nothing. They did nothing to me. Like nothing personally, right?" And like
Yeah.
this becomes this like fucking like this is like an epiphany moment for this like royal prince who's like, oh my
Right.
god, we have neglected the fishman district, and then we let this thing manifest, right?
Yeah.
But what's kind of annoying is that he never comes to the conclusion that like his mom was also that big of an idiot to never come to that conclusion too,
Her plan is like half formed. It's a good ending to a plan, I'd say, but
it,
it doesn't really get to the stuff, really touch on the stuff that would make the ending possible.
right. And I think what's also kind of another frustrating thing is that in the same arc we're introduced to a character who's basically like the Harriet Tubman for fishmen people. He's a guy called Fisher Tiger, and he
Okay,
basically freed a bunch of slaves on the surface. And not
it's
just
cool.
fishmen slaves, like slaves from all sorts of species. Like
Right.
he freed them all, and he formed his own pirate group, and they went around to like liberate more slaves, right?
Hmm.
Um, and the way and this is all told in a flashback, and the way the flashback is framed is that like the guy who freed slave is just as good as the queen, like they're both on equal footing on being like good people, right? And it's
Right.
like, no, one is obviously a way better person than the other, right?
Yeah.
One was
Yeah.
just like into a like a fancy like relocation plan that like would not help anyone in the immediate, like those fishermen kids are being neglected now, right?
Yeah, I don't yeah, her plan doesn't really make like it's just to go up and be present will make people be less racist to fish people. Like that's the
that
plan.
that's basically the plan, yeah.
That's I guess. I don't even understand how that's like an analogy to real world races. I guess it kind of like works
Well,
like
see,
because when people
it's like
okay.
sloppy, it's very sloppy, right? Like I agree.
I think like you could kind of say it's like similar like because I think like integration is obviously good, right?
Yeah, it
So
is.
it's so like if you'd like look at it as a metaphor from that angle, I'd say yeah, it's cool. But like I guess it's kind of incomplete because I don't think like integration is the only
I'm
thing.
there's like I think there's a million ways they could have taken this story without like that would have made me more in favor for the queen. And I'll say this, I there's like other
It makes it seem like the makes it seem it's like it's their fault for like not being visible enough, you know?
right, exactly,
But like it's not like really their fault, you know?
I, I
They just live underwater, like just whatever, you know?
yeah, it's so like, and there's like I don't want to like bore you with all there's a bajillion little intricate mini things also going on.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, right. So like that give more context, and I don't want to bore you with all that. But the thing is like it's not like the story of One Piece doesn't like show you what a good monarch looks like. Like earlier on, we meet a king who specifically lets his daughter, the princess, become friends with like lower class kids, and he lets them play in the castle. He lets them get free range. He lets all the kids who aren't royalty play and do whatever they want in the castle because he wants his daughter to give a shit about the people in the kingdom,
Right.
right? Like she wants right, and like I think that's so, that's great because that's how you
That's
you
cool.
you present like and also like his whole plot about like there's a guy trying to steal his title, there isn't like a moment where you think that the king was a huge idiot really because the guy who was trying to steal his title was like doing this so complicated plan that didn't have like there was never an opening for him to like outsmart him because you just never gave him one. You know, the only part of the plan that he failed was that he never considered the fucking Straw Hats would show up, right? You know, which is like that's kind of how every villain's plan works. All the villains are always like, this is I've been for decades now, I've been working on this fucking plan. And then the Straw Hats just show up and they just like, oh, okay, and they just kick their ass and they boom, the day is saved, you know? Right?
So are the Straw Hats like they're just like a little gang of pirates, I thought.
They're pirates, but like and they're a different kind of pirates. It's not said in the anime, like they don't explicitly say it. In the live action, they say it though. Like he says, like, "Oh, I'm not the kind of pirate that like I'm not like your typical pirate. I don't like raid and stuff." It's basically the way it's set up in One Piece is that Luffy wants to be the most free man in the world. He wants to go wherever he wants. He wants to eat what any kind of food he wants, right? But the way the world is structured in the One Piece is that like there's limits. Like he can't just do all that, right? There's like the Marines, there's a wider government, there's a hierarchy. He can't go into whatever island he wants. He can't help whoever he wants because there's like forces out there who you know, they're incentivized to keep people oppressed, you know, right? And Luffy doesn't like that. So Luffy like brute forces his way through all the oppressors to like just hang out and party with people, you know, like every One Piece arc always ends with like a dance party because like they're like, oh, we defeated the bad guy, and then they're fucking
just like a DreamWorks movie.
Basically, right? They're all like having like fun, like, oh yeah, we did it, we kicked his ass, and you know they party a little, right? And the thing is that Luffy doesn't.
Just a short interlude. I watched the movie Migration recently.
What do you think?
At home. And it was the first animated movie I'd seen in a while that ended with a big dance party. And I just gotta say, good job bringing that back, respecting animation tradition.
We used to be a country. We used to have.
We used to be a country, yeah.
Motion pictures nowadays have millions of dollars in budgets. How much of that is allocated towards popular music? None.
Nothing.
There was the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 had a big dance party at the end.
Yeah, I like you know what? I'm into big dance party. I'm not a big dance party hater because it's fun to have a big dance party with your friends, your best friends from a movie. You like it.
Right, exactly. You're like, we did it, guys. We all made it out and we saved the day.
We did it.
I saw her face.
I want to see Chicken Little dance with his dad.
Then you might like One Piece. Maybe like that's.
I like some pretty goofy stuff. So
it's pretty goofy and wacky and out there.
I don't think I'm gonna watch it because
you should just read
it. It's really long, and I just like the art and like stuff from what I've seen from it. I'm
not trying to blast you, but didn't you say you were unemployed earlier?
But I spent that unemployed time doing usually working on my art or something like that.
Right, my bad.
Or I'll watch something in the background. Well, actually, like watching something not in the background, and like sitting down to do that, I only take like a couple hours to do that.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah, if you try doing that with One Piece, you'll be watching it all year.
I don't like watching animated stuff in the background because
you don't want to watch animation. You don't want to watch One Piece in the background because one moment it's like going to be the start of the arc, and then you're gonna look to the screen and there's gonna be a big random fat guy that has shields all over his body, and he's all like, "I'm invincible, you can't hurt me," and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from?"
Yeah, I'm not really into that like kind of anime where it's like the fighting, like
you're not really into shonen.
Yeah, I'm not. I was never really big into shonen as a kid, so I'm just not like super interested in it. But I understand that people like it. And that's cool.
No, I got you. I'd say this. A lot of earlier you said Horty looks a little cunty. A lot of like One Piece characters are very cunty.
I have seen a lot of like kind of like almost like queer coded looking characters.
I'd say like One Piece is one of those like there's a lot of like works that are like, oh, they do something very progressive, but then later they take like 5 steps back on something else, right? Like, oh, like we get to meet like the queer characters. There's a part of One Piece like, oh, these are all the queer characters and they're epic and they based and their queer leader is like one of the vice captain for the Revolutionary Army, and they're like, we're not trying just to free people, we're trying to free people from gender and sex,
Right.
to be whatever
Oh,
they
that's
want,
cool.
right? And that's cool, right? But when we meet these people, they're all in fucking prison, and it's really just a giant version of like, oh, like prison rape jokes, right? That's kind of like where that
Oh,
all is coming from. And like, I mean, I like the queer characters in One Piece, and like there's some and there's a lot of enough like gay shipping that happens outside of fandom and
right.
whatnot, right? um but like it's just one of those where it's like, oh, this is like really, if you just like when a big wacky fun adventures and like the big moments that are like, oh, they make you cry and whatnot, that's really what you really gotta like, because all
The
the other
closest
stuff kind of like, yeah.
the closest I think I've gotten to being into a shonen anime is Mob Psycho.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that counts, but
Yeah,
it's
kind of, but
That
yeah, whatever.
counts.
but I really like Mob Psycho.
Mob Psycho is good. I read the whole thing. That one's neat.
Yeah, I like that show a lot.
You ever heard of Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah, I know Hunter x Hunter. That's also another shonen thing. I'm not into it.
Really? What did you try watching an episode and you're like, oh, not for me?
I haven't seen Hunter x Hunter, but I have watched Naruto. I have watched
I Okay, if I think you should check out Hunter x Hunter, because I'll say this,
I
because
don't I don't like it
wait, no,
though.
just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just while you're here, just hear me out real quick.
Okay.
Anytime like One Piece or another shonen does something super annoying that I don't like,
I don't
I
like Dragon Ball either.
okay, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Like, anytime any of those shonens does something super annoying that I don't like, I always say like, this shit would never happen in Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is like
Mhm.
one of those where like, oh, this is really like consistently like kind of good, and it's a little like, a lot of people say like, oh, it's a deconstruction on shonen. I don't think it is. I think it is like a shonen, but it's like, they don't fall into like too many shonen tropes. Like a big thing with shonen is like, oh yeah, our main guy is gonna beat like the main villain in this arc, right? But in Hunter x Hunter, that never happens. Like, there is like big evil guys that are super powerful,
Mhm.
but like our main guy never really fights those guys. It's usually someone else, because I
Sorry, can we take a break? I just
from
need to go to the
anime.
wash. No, no, I need to go to the washroom really
No, it's
quick.
fine. We could cut this out. You go ahead. We're just gonna keep recording.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There,
And now a word from our sponsors. This episode was brought to you by Marvel Snap.
Marble Snap.
Those of you who know me know I'm insane, and I need to keep myself in check with menial tasks and small micro doings. And that's where Marvel Snap comes in.
You ever
You only have 3 minutes? Decimate your opponents in Marvel Snap.
you ever wanted to snap off Spider-Man's head? Well, in Marble Snap, you could do that. You pick your hero and snap off their limbs. Torture them. Oh, what? You only want to snap off the limbs of women characters? Okay, you freak. Do that. All is
And for
possible
those of
in
you
Marvel
listening,
Snap, true believers.
you can join our Avengers League by putting in the code main character. That's right. All lowercase.
Main
And
character.
play with me on Marvel Snap.
I'm a hero on Marble Snap, and you could snap my little sweet neck right off, and you hear the nice crunchy noise it makes. Jesus, Jesus Christ! I think by episode 200, we're gonna finally get sponsors on here.
Hi again.
Hello, there you are.
Sorry.
No worries. we were just still talking. It's fine. Oh man, what they're saying, yeah, you should check out Hunter x Hunter. It's really, I think one thing that I really like about Hunter x Hunter is that our main character is like a little kid who gets super strong, but all
Mm,
the other characters are like, it's really fucked up that he's super strong.
right.
That's really fucked up. That a kid shouldn't be this strong, and it all like accumulates into this really great moment in like the second to last arc in the anime, where like it kind of like leads to a very self-destructing path, um
Right.
and Yeah, I think it's pretty good. The real meat of Hunter x Hunter is like the relationship between like just two boys. I think that's like the
Mm.
real, you know.
I did watch a good chunk of My Hero Academia back in the day.
Where you
That's a shonen, right?
yeah, that is a shonen. Were you digging
Yeah.
it?
You know what? I kind of liked My Hero Academia, but then I kind of fell off. Um,
Yeah, that was the same with me. I never really got back into it. I'm not
yeah,
really too interested. Like I'm not hearing anything really good. I think the last of the newer shonen that I'm into is Chainsaw Man. I'm
Oh, I love
I
Chainsaw
tried to
Man.
watch Saint Man, and I wasn't really interested in that either.
really, yeah. You
Yeah.
well, what about Chainsaw Man did you not like? I'm not
Yeah,
trying to come off
I
like
didn't
hating.
watch that much. I just got kind of
Okay.
like
Bored.
I just didn't feel like it. I was because there's other stuff I wanted to look at more, I guess.
Mm-mm.
That makes sense.
But
Okay.
I skip a lot of stuff purely based on like vibes. Usually that has nothing to do with the thing. Like
yeah, I mean,
I
I know
never watched Family Guy. Got into Family Guy this year and I'm like, "Oh shit, Family Guy. Why didn't you
you
guys
never
tell me?"
you never watched Family Guy your entire life.
No.
How did you do that?
Um let's skip that part.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's a complicated answer.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, no worries. Oh my god. What was I gonna say? I think yeah. What are comics you are reading? Who is there anyone on Twitter that makes comics that you're really into?
On Twitter,
It don't gotta be Twitter,
um,
I guess, but
um, I mean, there's always I'm just really bad at remembering people's names, honestly.
mm,
Um, there's a lot of comics I do like. I could just look at my collection. Uh, Julian Tamaki's good.
mm, that sounds
Uh,
familiar.
yeah, and actually, recently I was reading some Tezuka. I can never pronounce it right.
Osamu Tezuka.
Yeah, Tezuka. Um, he made some good like adult mangas I was reading.
I've read a lot of like his adult stuff. What was the last thing you're
Uh,
reading? Was it MW?
I think
Oh, I
so.
love
Oh
MW.
yeah, MW is one of those like
Or a Book of Human Insects is also pretty
ooh,
good. I mean,
that one is good.
they're very problematic.
Yeah, that is true.
It
But
was the it was the 70s.
I kind of like them though because it feels like he's like wrestling with his more progressive inclinations and his like weird conservatism,
Mm-hmm,
and it like
mm-hmm.
results in this like weird, very conflicted art, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, nah, I fuck with that. You read Ode to Kirihito?
No,
Mm,
I was reading some stuff by Patrick Kyle. He makes some cool stuff, like very sort of I don't know how to describe it really. The word
very very what?
I can't think of the word to
Okay,
describe it.
all right, I got you. Oh wait, you know what?
Eh,
Did I ask you about how did you get Silver Sprocket to publish your book?
they contacted me.
Mm,
They
Whoa.
they they said they wanted to publish it,
nice.
and I said, yeah,
Okay.
let's go, let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah, I heard
uh,
that's very
and
common.
they are very nice. They're very nice to work with. They're very nice, and they let me keep actually a lot of the profit from the comics, which is really cool.
That's really fucking cool. I'm buddies with Eddie Adams who did Pinky and Pepper
Oh
Forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Eddie makes really really good comics.
Oh
Pinky
yeah,
and
he
Pepper
does.
Forever was a really
It was
good
really
comic
fucking
that I
good.
liked.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
I've had them on the podcast before a couple times. So
oh really?
yeah, I had. You ever like you ever talked to them before? Maybe I could set up a one on one between you
No,
guys.
I've never talked to him. Um,
Mm,
but I do like his art a lot, and I'm a huge fan of his comic.
I gotcha. Did you didn't submit anything for that open submission the Silver Sprocket had back in August, right?
No, I didn't, because I'm still just working on my comic that I'm putting on Patreon right now.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh, sorry. I was just trying to think of like online people who make comics
No, I gotcha. No,
that I
I've
like.
submitted something for that open submission though. It didn't get through. I I got my rejection letter the same day everyone else did, and I'm like super curious on like who went through. Although I don't know if they'll ever say publicly who
No,
like got
I mean,
accepted.
I don't know. They don't tell me.
Oh no, I wasn't trying to like I don't think you're like a big wig at Silver Sprocket. So
No, I have like very casual correspondence with them,
no, I
but
gotcha.
they are very nice and they really helped me a lot with my comic. They
Mm-hmm.
really did a really good job editing some stuff, and yeah, it's really nice.
I
I'm
only
really.
own like a digital copy of Paradox. I need to get a physical. I haven't seen it out in the wild.
Did you get the digital copy they sell in the Silver Sprocket store?
No, I think I got the one on Gumroad.
You should get the one from the Silver Sprocket store because it's better. That's my advertisement for
Okay.
this episode.
Okay, you always
Get the
spend.
one on the Silver Sprocket store because
You already bought
they
it,
like it.
cheesy. Buy it again,
Buy
motherfucker.
it again.
Buy it again, you piece of shit.
It's not that expensive.
Wait, how expensive? Okay, I'm gonna check right now. Let's see. Put
I
your
don't know
money where the
actually.
mouth is.
I actually like the idea of that, like getting a, standard version of something, but then there's like a beefier, more deluxe version somewhere else.
Well, if you get the new version, delete the old version because I'm ashamed of it.
No, too
Oh, I
bad.
never do
Too
that.
bad. No, actually, wait a second. Oh
Oh,
I
no,
always
that
guard the older versions of stuff
but
very
it's not good.
jealously.
It's worse. It's there's nothing better in it. The edited version is better because they edit out the. There's like a printer error in the original where there's like a little black box
I
on
love
every
seeing stuff
page.
like that though.
but
Like
that's the
No,
mwah,
it's
that's
like
the
the artist
spice.
no,
edition.
no, but that drove me crazy, and I hate it so much.
I, if it drives you crazy, I think that's what
It sounds like you're saying that the worst version is the better version, is what you're telling me.
No,
that's like that's the spice. That's what makes it unique. It makes it more of an experience.
no, I hate that. Don't do that.
Too bad. Too late. Um, I cannot find you on the Silver Sprocket website unless Raven is in your real name.
Raven is my name.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm.
Maybe it's Raven Lynn Clemens. Did you put in Raven Lynn?
Hold up.
Oh, that's where I've heard that name. I said Clemens earlier, and I'm like, where did I get that from?
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that, but I decided not to
Oh.
because I forgot to say something about it.
Okay. I found it. Oh, I didn't have a picture. That's why. Buy direct. Yeah, sure. Whoa, what is this? Just comics. Is this CalArt style? Has anyone ever said that to you?
Yes,
That's so weird because you didn't.
a couple times.
It doesn't look like CalArt style. Was it? What
I
is?
just say that about anything that doesn't look like Ren and Stimpy or Ben 10.
It's a really fucking dumbass phrase. View cart. Okay. Is this a physical copy? Doesn't say. Wait a second. It says it's in my cart, but
Oh, there's a digital copy. Yeah.
hold up, digital. Oh wait, hold up. Yeah, now I found it. I gotta look for digital first. Okay.
I don't know if this is like amazing audio.
Who cares? It's whatever.
Yeah.
Most people like they probably got to the part where I was just ranting about like how liberal One Piece is, and they're like, "Oh, fuck off," is what they were thinking. Best. Okay, wait. Best selling. Let's see. Okay, not popping up. I put in best selling to see where your lines up. Oh, you're on page 2 of best selling. Oh, that's an achievement.
I mean, I've made like a couple $1,000 off it, I guess.
Nice. Paid your rent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm on disability actually, because I'm in a group home for people with disabilities.
Gotcha. You don't want the government to hear about it, wasting your disability and just drawing doodles online.
I mean, I think they'd rather me be doing that than have a job, because if I had a job, they'd take my disability away.
Well, they're looking for any excuse to take your disability. Okay, I'm not gonna buy this
Yeah.
right now. I'm just gonna see how easy it is to find it. That's all I was trying to do.
Okay.
Oh, you should link it in the description.
I might.
I'm saying that in the episode, so now if it doesn't happen, someone will comment about it.
If they
Yeah.
made it this far, I'll link it in the. I've heard people say do not link stuff in the description because it like
Oh.
kills like searchability for the video. Apparently, I don't know how true
Damn.
that is. It's just one of those things I hear people say. I hear it's better to just link stuff in the comments, which I don't do either, by the way.
All right.
But we'll see. I mean, I'll link it in the comments if people want to get digital copies. It's a good book.
Thanks.
If get on Raven's Patreon because she's got better books there. Apparently.
Yeah, well, I'm still pretty proud of this one, but
Yeah, sign up to the Patreon, get the good versions of stuff before she fixes them.
Right. Exactly.
No,
the moment
the good version
she uploads something, just download it right away, so she gets no chance.
Yeah, don't do that.
and then release it as like these.
That's like my nightmare.
You're a perfectionist. You're a big perfectionist.
About certain things.
Damn, my logic is that if I fuck up something on a page, I'm like, just don't do that next time.
Yeah, usually the moment I mess something up, it's kind of dead to me unless I'm really dedicated to it. Like sometimes I'll post something and the cheesy will say, "Oh, you made a mistake there," and I'm like, "Well, there it goes in the trash."
It just kind of gets under my skin knowing it's there. I mean, I have like obsessive compulsive disorder, so that's kind of part of it, I guess.
Nice.
Understandable.
That's a good reaction to obsessive compulsive disorder.
Got OCD. That's pretty based.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have STD, am I right?
Oh.
Oh. That's a good reaction. Oh boy. All right. So we're coming in close to the end of the podcast. We used to have an ending segment called "Who Deserves to Get Canceled," which was mostly just to air out any grievances we had with shit that just annoys us this week, you know.
Okay.
But the whole episode is just basically that, unless there's a particular set of people or person you want to target right now, Raven, who you think deserves to get the ire of the Main Character Syndrome podcast.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like people who have been annoying me right now that are like I don't mind being mean to online.
You always have someone you find annoying on Twitter. You're always tweeting out like, "I don't like this person."
I know. I try never to say I don't like people. I try to say their opinions are bad if I think their opinion's bad.
Saying someone's opinion is bad is like saying that they're awful and they deserve to be killed.
I guess, yeah. It's basically the same.
Mm-hmm, right.
I'd say
if you need more time to think about
I'd say John Fetterman, because he's very annoying me recently. I don't like John Fetterman.
He's like Two-Face, isn't he?
How is he like Two-Face?
Well, what I'm saying is that he was like saying he was this big progressive until he got in.
Oh, I thought you said like Two-Face. I thought you said like Two-Face, not Two-Faced. And I was like, how is he like the Batman character?
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, he's annoying. Ben Shapiro.
Oh, no.
He made a really bad video recently where he was rapping.
Yeah, he did make it
Oh
bad.
God.
Go tell Ben Shapiro that was bad. That's what I say. Ben Shapiro or John Fetterman. Tell them that they're bad. Because they're annoying people.
Main Character Syndrome Army, destroy them.
Destroy them. Ben Shapiro will never recover. John Fetterman will never recover.
They'll give it a couple more years, and they'll kick out Ben Shapiro for being Jewish the way everything is going right now.
Okay. he'll be fine. Yeah. He always hangs in there, old Ben.
He'll convert to Christianity.
No.
No,
I think Ben Shapiro would rather die than do that.
maybe.
Is
That can be arranged. As we speak, I am sending agents to his house to pin him down and twist his nuts counterclockwise.
I think
He
you
will
shouldn't
not
do that.
survive.
You
don't.
shouldn't do that to Ben Shapiro. That's mean.
You shouldn't do that to Ben Shapiro. What if he likes it? What if like that was the plan?
Oh
Like,
no.
oh no, not my.
What have I
Oh,
done?
you have to do it the clockwise is how he is the direction he doesn't like.
Bort.
Oh my god. Yeah. Who? Anyone you think needs to get shitted on, Julian? Any needs to be targeted by a shit bazooka right now?
Presently, no. All of my conflicts are hyper personal and fleeting. I
Mm,
was actually in the process of sending someone a 5-page essay about why I hate them so much, and I stopped myself. I don't
That's
even
good.
have it saved.
That's a good thing to do.
nice. There's no one I'm particularly upset about right now. I hate my car. I hate cars. I do not like cars.
You can't
Um,
drive.
you can't drive. That's fine. I can drive. Um,
No, but I hate cars. It's also convenient because I hate cars and I can't
nice.
drive.
Well, finally we agree on something. You
I think we've agreed on a lot.
finally, we see eye to eye on a topic. Our constant
Just like Goofy movie song, Eye to Eye.
Right, exactly. But it was with my car. It's like it's so awesome because I did get a new car recently because my last one caught on fire on the freeway. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, I got a new car thanks to my uncle, but I still got to pay to that one, which is great. I had this really good kind of like analogy for having a car. It's kind of like having a tumor in your brain that gives you the power to teleport. But every time you teleport, the tumor grows like 0.1 centimeter bigger every time you teleport. And
It's like teleporting, except teleporting takes an hour and it's painful.
yeah,
It hurts you.
true.
It feels like getting stabbed.
I mean, I'll say this: I kind of like cruising in my car, even though I hate cars. I kind of like cruising in my car.
Yeah.
I would much prefer to have better public, a better public transportation system. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I hate it when I tell people that I would much rather want that, and everyone's always like, "Oh, but what about the homeless?" And I'm like, yeah, "What about them, dude?"
How would
Oh,
that affect homeless? It would be good for homeless people because then they'd have public transportation.
also it's
Well,
like
the
okay, if
implication is that they don't want to deal with the homeless. That's why they like
Oh,
God,
I see. I
yeah,
was being too generous
yeah, true.
mentally.
Because my thing is like, okay, if the transportation is better and faster, that means you have to spend time with homeless people less. That means it's
Yeah.
quicker, right?
Homeless people, trust me, as someone who's lived around homeless people a lot, homeless people aren't really that scary.
Yeah, nah, no,
They
true.
I'm
sometimes
not
they
really scared
sometimes
of them. I just hate being inconvenienced in like miscellaneous minor ways.
well
If
sometimes
you haven't
they
noticed, I'm an
Okay,
American.
okay, you. You're like they're getting my fucking way. I'm gonna step and spit
get
on
away.
them.
Yeah, sometimes they can be very loud. I'd say,
Yeah, it's some.
or kind of because they're all like usually mentally ill or something. So
Yeah.
sometimes they'll try and talk to you or something, but then you just kind of have to just deal with it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's not really
That's
the
just
worst. I've been hurt by like more by non-homeless people than people who
yeah,
are homeless. So you know,
yeah.
right?
They're all bark, no bite usually.
It's
Like just a lot of yelling,
There's been like
but
a lot of
that's about it.
videos of people being like, "Oh wow," in Philadelphia they're basically like zombies, and I'm like, that's so cool that you're using that language like, just to dehumanize
Yeah,
them. That's so base.
I think I saw something about that. That's fucked up.
I,
It's like a horrible, fucked up way to refer to a human being.
yeah, it is. It's so fucking like inhuman thing to do to someone.
Yeah,
Shit.
I hate that whole like NPC, like all that like sort of like
Oh yeah.
dehumanizing people like that. It's really
I
gross.
don't agree with the logic of like because the whole idea of the NPC is all like, oh, there actually isn't that many souls. Some people are soulless, and it's like, Where the fuck did you get that information from? Where's your evidence that there isn't that many souls? Where's your evidence that there even is fucking souls? But I like the term NPC. I mostly use it for like when people lack imagination on things, you know, like, oh, this is how things are. Or
I do
like,
often accuse people of that.
or like when someone
NPCs.
says like something couldn't have been like made better, like there's no way this could have been made better. I always say that's such an NPC ass take.
I guess it's like a shorthand. It works. I guess
that's for me.
I don't know.
That's
For some reason,
me.
I'm like for some reason I'm like super allergic to that term.
I'm not
kind of like.
It's because you were raised on Tumblr.
It's a gamer word.
It's one of those fucking slangs derived.
Well, I was
4chan.
still part. I was no. I was on Tumblr, but I was also on other things. Also, I was around like edgy internet bullshit growing up.
I'm aware. You mentioned Ko earlier, and I'm like, yep.
My friends mostly check 4chan more than me because sometimes it's funny to look at the weird things people say.
Sometimes people make like hate threads about you. I seen like
one time someone did make a hate thread about me, and they drew porn of me. Oh wow! And this is my message to that person, and any other person who wants to draw porn of me. Don't do that. That's weird. Because it makes me feel particularly bad, but because I think it's unhealthy for you to reach that level of hate.
Yeah, it's.
I encourage my ops to start drawing porn of me.
I don't like. I don't know what the don't. You know,
I just
rule
don't
of
do
thumb,
that.
Probably people don't like that.
That person was very obsessed with me. I think we're like constantly messaging me and stuff.
That's always fucking weird when that happens.
I've had a couple things like that where like weird stalker people.
I think wasn't that because and you can stop me if you don't want to say it, but like you had to take against Hot Diggity Demon or something. I remember.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, classic. It's okay. This is a safe space. We're Hot Diggity Demon haters. It's okay.
You know, I am a Hot Diggity hater. I don't know. I'm not a hater. I don't really pay attention to his stuff. The only time I ever pay attention to it is my friends talking.
I look at every single thing he does. I'm keeping my eye on him.
With me, it's like I just hate the whole like. Recently, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to be a nicer, better person," and he just still acts the same.
Job.
Yeah, he's not doing a good job, buddy.
You're kind of doing a crap.
I'm kind of sick of him at this point. Like, I don't know where he is artistically beyond that point because now all he does is like play video games on the YouTube.
Is he like a streamer now or something?
He streams like art stuff. I
know the teens love him. Teens are just crazy about this guy.
I don't like the brain dump videos, especially the ones that always end with him crying about like God. There's one where like he's just like, but when will people focus on the white boys, huh? Isn't our white boys allowed to be sad? And it's like,
what?
Yeah,
okay.
And I don't like the whole the fucking his little ghost, goofy, annoying guy. See, like I don't like that character because that's just him too, right? And every time that character is like shit talking him, he's just being self-deprecating. It's a weird. It's like it's kind of like a Woody Allen bit almost, but like
it's like the nostalgia critic.
Okay, but I can respect him because he's kind of attractive. And no,
nostalgia critic?
No, he's not. He's not an ugly looking guy. I think he's like decent looking. No, I have nostalgia for nostalgia critics. So
I grew up watching a lot of nostalgia critics.
Yeah, I could tell. Me too.
I don't know if I should take that as a compliment.
We're the children of nostalgia.
Nostalgia critic. I don't really remember it at all.
I like him in a
I know I watched a lot of it.
I remember him.
Like his thing.
He remembered it so you don't have that's the thing, you don't have to remember it because he does. He remembered so you don't have to, Raven.
He remembers
every time you see him, he knows exactly what you need to remember and he remembers it for you.
There should be I'm trying to there should be here's maybe an idea for a 4-panel comic. It could be like a sad moment where like a family member is like an older guy, he has Alzheimer's and he's all like he's like he can't remember his own children. His adult children, he can't remember them, and the adult children are crying. and then you hear off panel he's saying like, it's okay, he doesn't have to remember because I will. It's
so Doug Walker's basically just like a memory farm. Like
right.
he just like stores the world's memories within him.
Yeah, he's kind of like is you ever seen Big O, the anime? He's like, okay, well, in Big O they lost their memories and there's giant robots now. So he's like I guess he will be one of the giant robots like on the show. But
the only difference is that where the Big O is like a world steeped in like bitter coffee and jazz noir, the Nostalgia Critic world is like him in his ill-fitting outfits yelling and shooting guns.
I think the worst thing that he did was not saying anything about like all the fucking sexual misconduct happening in his company. I think that was pretty bad.
Also making a bunch of movies and not paying people for being in the movies.
Yeah, that's also pretty bad. I feel like he's been kind of rehabilitated ever since that.
The Oni place is like rehabilitated and we all love him now.
That's true.
Teens.
I was there was like because Oni would also like I'll make this quick because I'm not trying to make this podcast super long. But there was one thing that really kind of frustrated me was because Oni would like joke about like Linkara, right? And I guess they're not the worst jokes ever, but Linkara didn't like that, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck."
I love that. I love his response was that he didn't like it and he thought it was mean.
And everyone was like shitting on him, but it's like
no, he has standards, not like Doug Walker. Doug Walker's just like, yes, make fun of me as much as you want, just anything, as long as people are still paying attention to me.
Well, my angle is very close to that. It's more like, well, you know, Linkara doesn't owe anything to Oni. He doesn't owe him a laugh. He doesn't like, they made jokes about him. Oh, like, wow, well, you can't play along, Linkara, you piece of shit. It's like he doesn't wanna. He doesn't owe him anything, dude. Like
he doesn't wanna.
Yeah,
he's above it.
Yeah,
he's a Linkara.
Would it help this brand? Would people have been like, oh, Linkara's a chill guy? Like, yeah, maybe, but does he want that? Does he need that? Is that something that's necessary?
I mean, they're probably sending annoying messages to him a bunch now.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't take a joke.
Right, exactly. And it's so like, oh my God. I don't know. People just really get like upset about that, which is dumb. It's stupid.
Doug Walker's whole thing, I guess, has always been that like he's sort of trying to do like a self-deprecating thing poorly. So like he kind of embraces like self-deprecation a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Linkara seems like a very self-serious sort of guy in a way.
He's like he's kind of like his reviews are like kind of more honest and like, I think Doug
less comedic. I
think Doug, and that's why Doug started that second series where he's actually giving his opinion on things, right? Because like I guess you wouldn't have to do that if like the things you're saying weren't not your actual opinions, but you just like doing jokes anyway,
Yeah, I was, by the end of my like that guy with the glasses phase, I wasn't even really that into Doug anymore. I was more into like Lindsay Ellis and like Linkara and
Lindsay Ellis, my queen. Yes,
I did. She's the one I've like actually stuck with because she's consistently been good. And like Felius or whatever, like those guys, I was more into.
Yeah.
Not really Doug. I started to get annoyed with him, especially around the time he made that really bad. What's it called? The musical review he did of like
the wall thing.
No, it was way before that. It was what is that movie called? I keep on wanting to say like Magnolia.
Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge, yes. Yeah, that review was really bad.
I never seen that. I mean, because once he did that Scooby-Doo one that ended Nostalgia Critic the first time, I was like, all right, that's enough Nostalgia Critic, and I just never.
That was way after the Moulin Rouge review, I think.
Was it? Maybe
it was a little bit after, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I just didn't like. I guess I missed it, which it's fine.
How do you fuck up a review of Moulin Rouge?
He did. Brental Floss is in it. Brental Floss?
I remember Brental Frost.
Brental Floss was also I think he's kind of like embarrassed about his old stuff, mental health.
About the video game with lyrics? Really? What's
Yeah,
embarrassing about that?
I don't know, because it's like considered kind of cringe to
I,
like do sing about video games and stuff.
I
Oh, that's him?
yeah, that's
Yeah, I don't like
mental
that guy.
floss. Yeah, like I am Dr.
Someone showed me that
Mario.
last year, and I'm like, you guys watched this?
Well,
I mean, I guess
that's
I
like
can't throw
years
stones. I
old, you
watched
know.
When I
movies.
was a baby, yeah.
Look, we were in the first. I think it was probably still the George Bush administration when those were
It
coming out.
was,
Okay, so
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
give
that
it some
makes sense.
slack, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bush was still in office
nobody
when I
knew any
watched
better.
those.
Yeah,
Didn't
exactly.
have cable TV.
Yeah, Bush was still in office. I love kind of like separating the. I mean, the eras are already separated between who was president, right? But
Yeah,
it's just funny to like say it out loud. I think.
they're like little arcs in
Mm-hmm.
a comic book.
Right, exactly. Like, oh, that was an Obama era show. You probably have an idea of what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my god, what was I gonna mention? Yeah, so fuck Hot Diggity Demon. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
yeah,
that guy's annoying. Growing up, I was into like Newgrounds, animators sort of and
Mm,
stuff, and he was one I was like kind of like a fan of as a kid.
yeah,
But
I feel like everyone
like
that was
was.
the podcast Max Giardi review, and we hope you hated it.
it's but yeah, I started to fall with all that stuff like around like 2014
Mm,
because I was just like these guys are sort of like sexist, racist jerks.
hmm I think
I don't know.
I,
Some of them seem a little bit chiller nowadays, but
I've said this before, and people kind of get mad when I say this, but I think the turning point was the whole Destiny debate with John Tron. I think that was like
I did. It shook the nation.
well, yeah, I did. It did shook the nation. But what I'm saying is that because John Tron was friends with a lot of those guys, and I think they
Mm-hmm.
saw the bullet that the John Tron branding took from that, so they were kind of like hush hush about what they actually believe in, you know.
I remember them saying stupid shit though,
I
like in like
remember like Zach
2017 and
Adel
16.
saying like fucking just atrocious stuff, like
When
tweets.
I was like a teen, I think I got in like an argument with him online or something.
That's so cool. You're
Like
like
about like whether it was okay to find black people attractive or something. He was like arguing with like a 17-year-old about whether it's okay to find black
he
people
wasn't he
attractive.
like I remember there was a tweet where he was saying like, "Oh, do you think it's totally okay to let that many brown people in the country?" Like he said
No,
something like that. I remember.
it's probably not as dumb anymore. He seems, I don't know, all those
He
that
seems
whole
kind of like
gang
chiller.
chilled
I
out a little
feel
bit.
I'm like there's like other podcasts who I like to think are my enemies, but who who have just really atrocious takes, and I've seen him on, but whatever.
No, nobody's my enemy. I love everyone.
That's not true. You're lying. I seen your
No,
tweets.
I love everyone.
Mm,
I love the world.
you gotta tweet that out. You gotta tweet that out right now. Tweet that out. I love everybody. Actually, I know I come off as hateful,
Okay.
but I love everybody. I think the world is beautiful. You don't gotta do that. It's fine.
No, I'm doing it.
All right, do
Okay.
that right now. Yeah. So people who listened all the way through have a little reward. They could go back to your
A
Twitter.
little treat at the end.
Right. Exactly. They could see. They
A
could see.
little alternate reality video game of
Mm-hmm.
sorts.
Yes.
You listen to the podcast and you go find the tweet, and then you go, "Oh, I
It's
win!"
fun. It's like a game.
Yeah. Actually, last thing, and then we're ending this because it's been going on for too long. There was someone you were following, and I wanted to ask you about how did you first
Okay.
find out about this person. I'm not gonna cancel you. Don't worry,
Okay.
you're not getting canceled right now. I just
All
gotta
right.
double check if if you're still following this person with the new account because I swear I swear I think you were following them in your old account.
Okay.
Okay, no, you're not following them. I swear I thought you were. Does the name Ben Saint sound familiar?
Oh, Ben?
Ben Saint.
I'm following Ben Saint.
Oh, are you? You sure? I looked through his followers right now, and I don't see you on there.
Wait, where is he?
Just type in Ben Saint.
No.
I think his handle is it's all so ugly.
Yeah, that's his handle.
Oh. No, I was thinking of someone else.
You followed Ben saying by accident. The
No, I don't follow this guy. I don't know who this guy is.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I swear I thought you were following him on your last account. I was like, I wonder how they became aware of Ben Sane.
Maybe. I don't know.
Ben Sane is a friend of the podcast. He's kind of like the granddaddy of this podcast. He was part of his own podcast, and we're the children of that podcast. You don't have to know nothing about that podcast.
You know who I was thinking of? Instead, I was thinking of Ben Hughes, the guy who likes the blue Simpsons famous dressed up as blue ninjas with the red bandanas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no sexy.
That guy kicks ass. That guy's my hero.
Nice.
I love that guy.
I think I've heard. I was thinking for a second the one guy who like photoshops all the Simpsons females looking at things.
That's him.
Oh, that is him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, he rules. He's my hero, and I love him.
Calling them photoshops is very generous, though.
Well,
I think there's a better word for that.
I don't know what program he's like making that shit on, but
disrespectful. Should be respectful to Ben. The hero.
You guys seen my Miku picture I did?
Yeah,
pretty great, pretty awesome stuff. That's my first Miku drawing. Never drew her before. Ever.
I wonder what she's going to do.
People were drawing like Miku creepypasta, then it kind of extended to like Miku and like disturbing pieces of media. And I drew this picture that was based on an idea.
Oh, from the
which was one band, one jar. It's Miku.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's fun.
I say that a lot. I had an animation teacher in university who, whenever he'd like respond to something he liked, he'd say, "Oh, what fun." And it's just kind of like stuck with me, and now I just call things fun all the time if I like them.
I gotcha. Wait, before we go, I gotta double check to see if I love everyone and I love the world. Boom, there you go. You did tweet it out.
Yep.
And screenshot. Now you can't delete it. But
I won't delete it.
All right, good. Yeah, just making sure. I'm not calling you Two-Face. That's not what I called you.
No.
But I'm just screenshotting it.
All right.
Okay, all right.
For your collection, your personal
my little collection of problematic screenshots that I collect.
It's not problematic. It's me saying something nice.
The last tweet I screenshotted was I used to work at this valet place where all my coworkers were racist, and there was one coworker who really didn't like me for no reason. I swear I didn't do nothing to piss them off, but they just decided that I was their worst enemy. Anyway, I found a tweet about them. Someone tweeted them out saying like, "Yo, the lady at the valet place is like on smack or something."
Oh no.
It was great. I screenshotted that. That was pretty based. But anyway, yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Raven, anything you want to promote?
Just my Patreon, patreon.com/RavenLynComics.
Yeah, it's got a really kick-ass comic there. It's better than Paradox. I don't know. It might be. I mean, it's gotta.
It's I think, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty proud of it. What I'm working on.
I'm just
I
not trying to like give you anxiety, but just saying if it's not better than Paradox, then
I got a lot to live up to.
Yeah, true. Those standards. You have a bar. Okay. Just saying.
Your next book is going to have to be called "The Paradox of Making Good Comics."
Getting better at Paradox is the sequel.
Yeah, and you can buy my comic, I guess, on
digital
Silver Sprocket store. There'll be a link.
And if you want to buy an earlier version of the comic that I own, just DM me and I'll link it to you.
No. No, we're not doing that.
Bootleg Star Wars Holiday Special ass.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people
called an artist edition.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people do still have that version. I just didn't feel like getting the new one. But I mean, I would recommend getting the new one in all honesty because they did a really good job kind of tidying up some stuff. And it looks really good.
Hell yeah. Julian, what do you want to promote? Anything new or the same old?
The same old. If you're interested in me and stuff that I do, go to VQ. cd.in. I'm still working on that magazine. Can't wait for it to actually get released because then I can actually tell you what the magazine is about on the podcast. But until then, bookmark my website. It's where all my cool stuff is kept. That's where it lives. vqcd.in.
Hell yeah. And I'm Cheesymanfredo. And what do I got cooking? My car caught on fire months ago,
That's true.
like in November. According to my lore, my car caught on fire, and I was totally gonna draw my third batch of robot masters based on songs with the word "man" in it, and I didn't do that because like car caught on fire. Then I got the flu right after, like literally the next day I got the flu, and that was really cool that those two things happened. And after that, I just been playing a game of catch up on everything. But I'm almost done with this third batch of Robot Masters. Then after that, I'm gonna do a bunch of other bajillion little comics. I am bringing back Bongo Luna. It's gonna be a Toxic Yuri goofy comic now.
Nice. Love that.
That's a new hotness. You might not like this. It's very horny. There's a character with huge boobs and a
I
makeup.
like horny stuff.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
You should draw more horny stuff.
I'm not good at drawing it, but I'm pro horny.
Okay, well, you should try it. You should. I don't know what do you. God, I don't make this longer, but the next book you should just put the most self-indulging like horny character.
I kind of was gonna do that. So
nice, hell yeah. I think that's cool when people do that. You know.
Yeah, not in this one because it's about kids.
In the next one, but just the next one will be the horny book.
Yes, the next one's gonna be the horny book.
Hell yeah.
Also, for those of you listening, buy the current book, but remember the horny ones after.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So
something to look forward to.
Hell yeah.
And I guess I didn't say this, but Ravenland Clemens is like all my social media.
Yeah, exactly. Your social media will be on screen.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. And I'm Cheesymanfredo. More stuff is coming. I'm in the lab. I'm cooking up new horny characters. I got a $1 million idea last night. I was thinking, what if a cartoon character was horny?
That's something new.
I don't think anyone's thought of that.
Don't tell grandma about that one. Yeah, this ain't Archie.
I was saying like, what if a character, I don't know, what if a character with big boobs was like super horny and wanted to have a lot of sex? And I don't think no one's ever thought of that, really. I don't think that's like new.
I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that before. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And you'll see that character soon enough in your local newspaper.
In your local newspaper with little Abner.
Yeah.
And fucking peanuts before swine.
Your grandpa's gonna open the newspaper and see a character with big tits to get a heart attack because he gets too horned up. He's like, oh no, that character's just too huge.
You're gonna say
Family Circus is on suicide watch.
Andy Cap's gonna be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That cartoon character has big boobs. I'm gonna die now. And then he dies.
You ever read Family Circus and thought like, God, I wish this was hornier? Well, I got the book for you. I got the story for you, buddy.
Isn't that just
I do sometimes read for better or for worse, and I think, what if this was horny?
What are you gonna say, Raven?
Oh, I was just saying, like, isn't like horny Family Circus just like that one Chris Savino comic about the cat?
Oedipus? Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that was he should have kept making more of those.
No, it's not Christian. It's not Christian. He's a good Christian boy. Yeah.
That's a shame. Nothing like being a Christian.
Who doesn't believe in evolution and also believes in aliens. Check out his comic.
Well, because God made the aliens. It says so in the Bible.
Yes, he's a Christian who likes aliens.
Nice. All right, cool.
The best kind of Christian.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.